This week on the Jock and Nerd podcast, we are going back to the days of macho leads, one-liners, and over-the-top action scenes as we take a look at Commando, Bloodsport, and Tango and Cash. That's right, it's an 80s action movie showdown, all in this edition of the Jock and Nerd Weekly for Monday, February 28th, 2022.
This is Frank Grillo. You know me, but who are you? Are you the discerning, sophisticated type of person who enjoys all the latest comic book and superhero TV and movie news? Pop culture references, witty banter? Me neither. I'm just here for the dick jokes.
Check. Check one. All right. This is for all you fans out there. Let's give it up. We talk it, we nerd it. We funny, disturb it. We talk it, we nerd it. We spoiler alert. Oh yeah!
Hello and what's up, listener? Welcome to the Jock and Nerd podcast, where we give you comic book and superhero TV and movie news, reviews, and whatever we choose. Jock and Nerd. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's the nerd.
And joining us, our very own king of one-liners, it's Rug Boy. What's up, Rugs?
Show me your nuts.
Is that your go-to one-liner? It works in a lot of places.
Well, that's from the Kentucky Fried movie. You remember that, Imran?
Yeah.
Show me your nuts.
I do remember that. That's a movie I haven't seen in a long time.
That's really inappropriate. You want to see an inappropriate film? That's the one to see. It has it all.
The good old days. You can't make it
I remember
like that
Anthony
anymore.
watched that once. You know?
Yeah, I went over my head. All I'm thinking about is the fast food restaurant.
No.
This is a severely un-PC
The guy
movie.
who made Airplane.
Yes, the Zucker
yeah.
brothers. It was his earliest movie.
Yeah, he did this movie, and it was like there's an Enter the Dragon. It's called Fistful of Yen. It's about 15 minutes long, like parody of Enter the Dragon. It's the most racist thing you'll ever watch.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
unbelievable. You thought Airplane was raunchy.
Like Asians everywhere will be boycotting and burning this movie theater down nowadays.
Well, look, speaking of movies they don't make anymore, that's why we're here. I'm excited for this week's show, listener. If you looked at the title, you're going to see 3 random action movies from the 80s.
They're not random. They were carefully selected.
Okay, it was curated, but I know a lot of people, I teased this in our Facebook group, and I think some people were like, why did you pick these movies? So, Anthony, this was your idea.
Yeah, I'm a big ideas guy.
It's great. It's, we've been doing episodic television. We needed a break, of a change, and just kind of something to distract us from the crazy world right now, and this is perfect. What was your idea? Why are we doing these movies?
It's a combination of a couple of things, a couple inspirations. So we're doing these movies because, number one, the last couple episodic TV shows we reviewed, specifically Cobra Kai and Peacemaker, have leads that are kind of throwback leads, 80s shoot-'em-up leads. You have Johnny Lawrence, who's the epitome of the 80s, just transformed or transplanted into the modern era. And then you have Peacemaker, Christopher Smith, who's also somewhat 80s, although a little bit more in his feelings than most in the 80s, but still from that kind of background, definitely raised with, if that character was a real person, he definitely was watching a lot of those fucking 80s movies. So that's part of the inspiration. The other part of the inspiration is I've been listening to a lot of rewatchables from Bill Simmons, and just being able to like go back to old movies that everyone kind of liked and review them now with a modern lens was also kind of interesting to me. So you combine those two ideas, plus you have Rug Boy, who's just been tearing it up with what's that fucking guy's name? Guy that played Frank Grillo.
Oh, the Grillo, Frank Grillo.
We just know that Rug Boy, like, this is so up Rug Boy's alley.
Right.
So you throw that in, you have Imran's just wild enthusiasm, and you have me as a fucking millennial rewatching some of these old movies, and I think this is gonna be a fucking rollicking good time, you fucks.
Oh my God, it's gonna be great. And your idea was we all pick a movie
Yes.
that we watched in the past and maybe want to revisit or watched a lot or, seen it all and see how it hits today. So,
Right. And not in kind of I put the parameters not like the best of the best movie,
kind of like with deep
but
cuts.
not a movie that Rug Boy was trying to suggest, like somebody like John Stamos or something like that. Like we're not doing that shit.
Like You're Never Too Young to Die with Gene Simmons and John Stamos and Vanity. That's a fucking holy shit. That movie's crazy.
That movie deserves a podcast episode. Maybe
Yeah,
we'll get
we
to
should.
that. But you're
One
right.
day.
Yeah, these movies were all commercially kind of successful movies. So for the listener, here's the picks. My pick is Commando from 1985. Anthony, your pick was
Bloodsport, I believe that's 88.
1988. And Ruggs, your pick
Tango and Cash, 2 for the price of 1,
from
motherfuckers.
1989. Yes, so we have 4 solid 80s action movie leads. Anthony, what are some criteria to you that makes a good 80s action movie?
Oh man, Ruggs, you'll have to check my homework on this. I wrote these down initially.
All right, yeah.
But
what do you got?
80s, early 90s. Let's even say.
Yeah, absolutely. Early.
You need a macho lead.
Yep.
Yeah,
You need one-liners.
absolutely.
Music
Yes.
is very
But
important.
every movie has music, but it's specific kind of music.
Yes,
I think.
specific kind of
kind of
yes.
music.
Like it's supposed to get you amped up.
Yes.
It's got like you almost have to be able to work out to it or something.
Definitely.
The music almost on its own tells the story.
Right.
You have to like punch dance to it, like Kevin Bacon in Footloose. You have to be able to like
Put
go
up and
into
down, punch it in the air.
Yeah, you have to be able to do that to this kind of music. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Obviously, the action,
Of course,
fights,
of course.
that's huge.
Yeah, bare knuckle, like mano-y-mano at the end, usually, you
And
know?
over the top action and explosions. Absolutely.
Yes.
One of Rug Boy's, one of all our favorites, I guess. Babes and boobs.
Gotta
But
have
like not,
babes
but
and
like a lot of movies have like they'll have like a sex scene in it or something.
Right.
But I'm talking about in the 80s in action movies, there's just tits for no
right.
reason.
Gratuitous
Absolutely.
showing.
They'll just be like, what? You walk in and all of a sudden there'll be people having sex in a car for no apparent
Yeah,
reason
we'll
that
get-
have nothing to do with the rest of the
Yeah,
movie.
man. Yes.
Not
So-
only boobs, but just shoehorned like love stories, right? Like
Yeah.
out of
Yeah.
nowhere, they immediately fall in
Yeah,
love.
instant like sexual chemistry.
And like
that,
sexy dancing by a female for no reason.
Yeah,
That's
there's
also
that.
a thing.
Yeah.
So,
And then of course, then the end is villains.
Oh, you need a
good
yeah,
villain.
You need a good 80s villain. There was few.
There's like there's maniacal villains. Like what happens is like the blueprint for a lot of this stuff is James Bond, right? James Bond kind of at the boilerplate, like high class, highfalutin version of this. Like, James Bond, he's like the consummate man. He gets all the women. He drives the fast cars. He has the guns and blah, blah, blah. And then he does the fisticuffs and then the women all fall in love with him. So that happened in like the 70s,
Yeah,
right? In the
yeah.
50s and shit, like with Sean Connery. And action movies is like basically like a shorthand version. They're like, let's throw out like all of this fucking spy shit,
Story.
and like British, like high class, highfalutin, like suavity. Let's do an action movie, but let's do it with like a guy who's sweaty and oiled up and like has huge biceps. And it's like almost homoerotic in a lot of the ways that it is, but it's also like uber macho, like it in a weird way. Like it's like chauvinistic. It's weird.
And it's escapism too, especially in the 80s.
Yeah. So I think they did that to kind of escape any kind of reality. They're
Yes.
like, we're going to go so crazy and out of control with this. You can't watch this movie for anything than what it is. And like, I think I was talking to Delhauer during the Discord.
Yep.
And he brought up pro wrestling. And I'm like, yes, it's pro wrestling with explosions and car chases. That's what it is.
Absolutely.
It's, and pro wrestling is escapism for people even to this day, So action movies, 80s action movies became their own cliche. They became their own genre. There were there are tropes that happen in all of these movies. And like there was, maybe, I'm going to say a little bit more than a handful of the pantheon of action heroes. Like we all know Arnold, we know Stallone, we know Jean-Claude Van Damme, dare I say Steven Seagal,
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
and then there's some like people off to the side that that are also in there that have made great movies. So It is a genre, and it is of the 80s, and I think that a lot of us grew up watching that and just thought that's what movies were. Like, you don't even need to write a script. You just have guys, as long as you have some guy and a bad guy say, this is the bad guy, it doesn't matter how many people the good guy kills violently, like, he's still good. Like, the bad guy, you never even see him kill anyone, maybe like one or two people, but the good guy is the one who's mowing just countless people down, destroying property, lighting things on fire, impaling people, punching people in the nuts, all the things you don't do, like, that are bad, like, but he's the hero. So I think it's kind of funny and ironic at the same time. I think that's why I love those movies. They make me laugh. They bring a smile to my face. And I don't know, they remind me of a time where people were just a little bit more lighter and didn't give a fuck and weren't so kind of concerned about, they were just like, this is a fucking stupid movie. And no one's sitting there saying it's a good, like, no one's going, these are high art films. Like, no one's sitting there going, oh, these movies were like written so much better. Cause if you actually look at the scripts, they're like really hilariously bad.
If there even was a script, yes.
What's interesting though is there are, like, the ones that stand the test of time actually are good films. Yeah. So it's like, it's not all complete garbage, and then there's ones that are complete garbage. Like, when I was kind of doing my research, I circled 3 movies, not the ones we're going to review, but 3 movies that kind of like kickstarted all of this.
Right.
In the early 80s, the ones I circled, and I'd be curious if you guys agree, were the Terminator,
yes,
Rambo, First Blood, and 48 Hours. I think those are the 3 that came out really early that people were like, not only these guys are kicking ass, but these are actually kind of good.
Well, Terminator's
more sci-fi, but it's
more sci-fi, and Arnold's the bad guy.
Right.
So
you still have that 80s machismo of, like,
there is a little bit of machismo, but you have the heroine is a woman, the hero is a woman, and the main character is also a woman. So it is kind of genre. It's in the genre because Arnold's in it, and it's got a lot of the tropes, like the explosions and stuff, and the one-liners, like "I'll be back," all that stuff.
Michael Biehn, "Come with me if you want to live."
Yeah, those things. It's there, and it has great music, and it's got the synth soundtrack. What did you say the other one was?
I had Rambo and then 48 Hours.
Yeah, First Blood was an action movie, but it was kind of like still a good movie. It was written well, and it had something to say. It wasn't jokey or lighthearted even.
That was dark.
It was a story about a vet who comes home and and just goes crazy because shit isn't working out for him.
Yeah, Stallone's definitely acting his ass off in that one.
And 48 Hours, that is the buddy cop movie. Yep. Right? It's the one where you have 2 people who don't like each other but have to work together, and they both come from different worlds, and then, you kind of let that play out.
And they were making those kind of movies in the 70s, but then you put Eddie Murphy in there and he just makes it something bigger and better and blows it up again, So this is going to be so much fun. I cannot wait. Let's get started. Along the way, we will talk about also if this is the lead's best movie. Yeah. Would this movie work today? All that fun stuff.
Well, what's interesting, too, before we get into it is, like, we pick these movies individually without really, like, talking about it. We just happen to pick the movies that were, like, with these leads.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, this is going to work out even better than we thought.
Yeah, we got it mostly covered. All right, before we get started, listener, you can join the conversation. We have a fun, active Facebook group called Jock and Nerd Nation. You should join it. You'll meet all the other listeners. You get to geek out, and we read and share your comments. It's a closed, exclusive group just for you. There's a link in the show notes. Okay, let's begin chronologically with my pick of Commando from 1985. This movie directed by Mark L. Lester, who had done Firestarter before this for Stephen King. A couple of interesting writers here. You have Jeff Loeb, the Jeff Loeb, like Batman Long Halloween Jeff Loeb, like executive producer of Marvel TV Jeff Loeb, wrote on this movie. Matthew Wiseman, who wrote and produced Teen Wolf, or before this, Michael J. Fox, and then Stephen E. D'Souza, who wrote Die Hard and a bunch of other things. Very big writer in the 80s, right? Music by another big name, James Horner, doing the music for this.
Jeez.
Yeah, this is a tight 90-minute movie. It was made for a $9 million and made $57.5 million in the box office, meaning this
Nice.
is 85.
Tidy profit.
Yeah, that's a success in the 80s. Starring, of course, this will be our Arnold Schwarzenegger action movie vehicle. Ray Dong Chong also in this. Dan Hedaya, Vernon Wells, Alyssa Milano. Yeah, Dan Hedaya. Dan Hedaya with a terrible, terrible Spanish accent, Latin. I don't know what he's doing.
That's what he was doing?
Yeah, I don't know what he's doing. It's horrible.
From Valverde.
Valverde. A very young Alyssa Milano playing Arnold Schwarzenegger's daughter, and the great Bill Duke, who was like in a ton of 80s movies. He's great.
Bill Duke,
Yeah.
he's fucking awesome. He should be in every 80s movie.
Bill Duke definitely. Well, I mean, all these movies have these great character actors that were in a bunch of movies. Real quick, before we get into the thoughts on this movie, here's the quick synopsis, plot recap. What Commando is about. Arnold plays a former military mercenary type dude named John Matrix.
That's the most random name ever.
He does not look like a John or a Matrix or a John Matrix.
It sounds funny. Let's do it.
Yes, I love how all of his movies he has like these Anglo names, and he's clearly like like Dutch. Like, you're not a Dutch. Get out of here. Anyways, John Matrix done with
He's supposed to be German in this movie.
Oh, he's German. So
Yeah.
he's done with the military. He's living in the mountains in peace with his daughter, Jenny Matrix, played by Alyssa Milano. When we come to find out, one of his old unit members that he threw out has come gunning for him, hired by this Dan Hedaya cartel South American leader. Anyways, they kidnap his daughter to force him to go kill a leader in this fictional South American country that he helped overthrow Dan Hedaya's character. So he's pissed. So essentially, you have a ticking clock. You have, a pretty typical Arnold scenario where his kid's kidnapped and he's got to do whatever he can to get her back. And along the way, they are destroying malls and motel rooms and just flying in a plane to an island. Lots of crazy
It's got a great plot device because, see, Arnold's supposed to get on this plane.
Yes.
To go commit this crime so he could save his kid, but he decides to jump off the plane.
Yes.
And in the time of the flight time.
Yes.
Like, this is before they had cell phones. You could talk to people on planes and shit.
Yes.
Like, they're like, oh, we just have to wait for this motherfucker to fly in to kill everybody. So, like, he's got like a ticking clock where he's got, okay, I have this much time to save my daughter.
The flight is 11 hours.
So you got that first trope right out the gate.
And I was like, remember when you could smoke on planes and you couldn't contact someone if they were on a plane and you just didn't know?
Yeah.
But right away, you get some great fucking Arnold one-liners.
Well, first off, why'd you pick this movie?
Oh, right. I picked this movie because at one point when I was a young teenager, I was getting into movies, and I think largely it was Terminator 2, Judgment Day, and the first Terminator that made me go, I need to watch every Arnold Schwarzenegger movie there is. And I proceeded to find and watch every Arnold movie because I was obsessed for a little while. This was one of them that I'd only seen like once. And I remember vague bits, but I remember it being kind of crazy and entertaining.
Oh, it's fucking crazy.
Oh, it is crazy. And by the end of it, I was like, oh, I picked a good movie because this is like the quintessential Arnold explosions one-liner fucking movie.
What's interesting though about this movie is, although it's the quintessential like what you would think Arnold was making,
yeah,
this was by all intents like his first time doing something like this. Like this was like them giving him the keys and being like, okay, let's see what you can do.
Really blow shit up.
And he basically like acts terrible. He acts like he's still playing Terminator.
Yes, he does.
Throughout the
He's
entire
emotionless the whole time. So to put it in context, at this point, Arnold had done Terminator, Conan the Barbarian movies, and a Red Sonja movie. Now, the big movies out of those were the Terminator and the first Conan movie. I think the other two kind of didn't do as good as he wanted.
Yeah, I think what they tried to do is like they gave him a kid so he could get ice cream with her and stuff in the beginning and try and humanize him a little bit.
Feeding a deer and shit. And she put
that opening montage where it's like the start of a TV show. I was like, what the fuck is this?
It's like a fucking sitcom opening. She rubs ice cream on his face and he's just laughing.
Them feeding the deer. I mean, what the fuck?
Ridiculous.
There's one part in that opening I mean, it's hilarious.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
one part in that opening montage where they were like, it looks like they were on a hike,
Yeah.
and like he picks her up, right?
Yes.
And she's not wearing any shoes.
Oh no.
I was like, did you go on a hike with your daughter and she's not wearing any shoes?
What are you doing? Where are your shoes? I think we forgot them in the cabin.
It's so, and it's like he's still at this point, he's not at all like a good actor.
Yeah.
So like he's so like there's one part in that montage, I think, or right after, where he kisses his daughter on the lips, and it's just like, oh,
It's so awkward.
it's just like you don't know how to act around children at all.
So another important aspect of these movies is the first shot of your lead character, right? In this one, Arnold is literally carrying a fucking tree on his shoulder.
That intro.
It's amazing. Just a giant log. It's a whole tree.
It's just oiled up muscles
Yes.
and then a log.
And a chainsaw in the other hand. I guess he just cut this tree down.
Yeah, I love that when I was a kid.
Holy
I love that.
shit.
You know what's interesting about this movie as a kid? Because I've seen all these movies as a kid, but I haven't revisited this in a while. I remember vividly being at Blockbuster and seeing this movie on the shelf, and then seeing Predator on the shelf and thinking they were the same movie, because he's literally wearing the same outfit on both covers.
Okay, so can we talk about the poster for a second? Because the cover is iconic, and it's him in his face paint, in his vest, holding a machine gun. And you notice, if you look closely, he's got grenades hanging by the fucking pin on his vest, meaning that if he falls or accidentally hits one of those, he's fucked. Things going on. Like, why are you hanging the grenades by the pin? So not only that, I believe when this came out, people were excited by that image, and that's what they wanted to see. Arnold blowing shit up. He doesn't put that shit on until like the third act of the movie. Like, you gotta wait like an hour before he gets into that garb, and it's just in the end.
Yeah, he's like in his black undies in a raft.
Yeah, he has to paddle over in his tighty whities first, and then he puts all that shit on, and there's a ticking clock, Arnold. You don't think you're gonna save some time?
But you get to watch like all of that stuff get put on. That's that was one of the things.
The strap-on montage.
Yeah,
was
the strap-on montage is
fantastic.
great. The weapon montage.
But again, he's hanging the grenades by the pin.
Yeah.
Doesn't make a lot of sense.
No, it does not.
Well, what was one of the things that stuck out to me, amongst many things in this movie, is how kind of in on the joke the movie kind of is, which was I wasn't expecting. I definitely don't remember that as a kid. Like Ray Dong Chong's character, first off, that's Cheech and Chong. That's actually
Tommy Chong's
daughter, which I was like, holy shit, that's Tommy Chong's daughter. She's like making these like comments about like, oh, too much red meat. Oh, you're like masculinity, and it's like, whoa, I didn't think in the 80s they were making like kind of like an awesome casting. They cast this like black woman to be the female lead, and she's like commenting on just how overly like ridiculous everyone's being and how masculine they are. And then she's like, jumps into the battle for no reason.
She literally says, I hate this macho bullshit. Like, she is calling out what's happening in the movie. By the way, shit, he just randomly kidnaps her. Like, this poor lady, she don't want to have anything to do with it, and you just involve her and kidnap her, and then she has
she was being accosted by that guy.
Right, but then
in the parking lot,
but then
and
she
escapes that, and then Arnold rips the seat out of her car and then climbs in.
And then by the end, she's got like Stockholm syndrome, and she's all in.
Well,
she's like the perfect person to have kidnapped because she can fly that amphibious plane.
She can fly a plane.
She's like gung-ho about like going into the gun place and helping him get the guns and saving the daughter.
She can read and follow instructions for a rocket launcher. That's helpful.
I just know what was great about Ray Dong Chong's character is that she asked Arnold 3 times what's going on, and every single time Arnold tells her what's going on, but then she still needs to know what's going on.
What's going on?
He's like, they're trying to kill me, and then he's like, okay, well, they have my daughter, and I have to save her, and then she's like, but then like 2 minutes later, she's like, what the hell is going on? He goes, well, I have to kill this guy. He doesn't piecemeal. I have to kill this guy, and if I don't kill this guy, they're going to kill my daughter. And so, like, he reveals a little bit more of the plot as they go. He should have just said it all in one sentence. Like, look, I got to fucking save my daughter. There's a guy who wants me to kill somebody. If I don't do it, yeah.
Well, there's a line I wrote that had me rolling when he first kidnaps her, and he says that they're trying to kill me, and she goes, "It's understandable. I've only known you for 5 minutes, and I want you dead too."
And I want to kill you too. Yeah, that's fantastic. So, okay, let's just talk about a couple of things that he does physically in this movie. Talked about he comes in carrying a tree.
Yeah.
He climbs down through the wheel well of a plane that is taking off and jumps. Man, that's got to be a couple 100 feet at that point. And
he lands in a swamp.
He rolls and lands, and he's fine. Just stands up and walks away.
Pause right there. This movie, it seems like it's like in California, I would guess, right?
Yeah.
Somewhere in like the northern California.
Yeah.
So then he jumps out. Where's there a fucking swamp in California?
I don't know where the swamp is.
Well, they might have marshes. I don't know. Maybe they do. They have to have rivers or something, right?
Why does he wait till like he's on the wheels, right?
Yeah.
He can see the ground.
And then he waits till he goes
waits
over.
until it's like about 400 feet up. Before
I think he was waiting to get over the marsh so he doesn't fucking hit the pavement, I guess.
Well, look, that makes more sense than him just landing and rolling on the road.
But that was a really far jump, and he just like, I'm fine. Wait, but before
his
that,
leg should have been broken.
Here's a great one-liner. Before that, when the guy, he's got his escort on the plane, and on a full plane with people everywhere, he just fucking snaps this guy's neck and he kills him. Nobody notices, right?
That was great.
He puts a hat on him and like a jacket over him.
Nobody
and just like
noticed.
He's dead tired.
Yep, there you
And
go.
he goes,
He's
"Don't
dead
disturb my
tired.
friend. He's dead tired." I was like, "Oh boy!" And then he also when he leaves, gets to the bathroom, he goes, "I'm gassy." And he's just going to the bathroom, right?
Is that what he says?
Yeah, he goes,
Yes, he says he's gassy.
I thought he said he's like the plane made him. You're right. Okay.
Okay, then
That whole scene, I'm like, I was riveted just by like, how the hell is he going to get out of this plane?
He's like, he has to not be on this plane. What is going on? Okay, then he fights mall security, which I thought was hilarious because he's just tossing these guys around.
That was weird too. Like she calls mall security on him for no apparent reason. Like she doesn't believe him, I guess.
At this point, he is. I kind of believed it because I'm like, he kidnaps her and he's a crazy person. It seems like to her, but she calls mall security. The shot where he's like hiding, he's behind the fucking pillar, and it's like, dude, you're fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger, and you're trying to hide behind that fucking pillar. Like, what the hell are you doing?
I forgot to mention right before this, he rips the seat out of her car with his bare hands.
Yep.
Just rips it out, and then
why?
So he can duck down and hide. I don't know.
Yeah.
Why do you need to?
He doesn't know that you can just pull a lever and recline.
And then in the mall security fight, he rips a phone booth out of the ground and holds it up over his head with a dude in it.
That happens. There's also a point where there's like, first off, there's an insane amount of mall security.
Yes, there's so many of them,
and they gang up on him. And at one point, they all crowd over him, and he like hulks, and they all like there's like 10 of them that fly off.
He does the shit they did in He-Man. That is an animated sequence from He-Man where he would go Wah! Throw everyone off like a cartoon. It was amazing. It was amazing. He flips a car over. At one point, he rips a chain with a padlock open with his bare hands. Very subtly, he drives a bulldozer through a department store. And by the way, the 80s were great because all these surplus stores had a back room with fucking rocket launchers and machine guns.
Of course,
like, how did he know that was there? Why does the store have a rocket
that's why they
launcher?
There's always a guy in the closet.
You got to point out he's grabbing everything, right? Grabbing everything, and he passes by flippers, and he's like, "I need these too." And he fucking puts the flippers in, and he doesn't use the flippers the entire fucking movie. They literally make it a point where it's like, "Oh, he's getting the flippers. Like this is an important part." And then he uses a raft to fucking raft over to the island. The flippers are not involved at all.
I don't know. Maybe he did.
He's just like, "Oh, these two." It's like when you're at the supermarket and you're like in the checkout line and you're like, "I'll take the beef jerky as well." But he's like, "I'll take the fucking flippers on top of all these fucking guns."
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense. And then there was there was Bill Paxton in here. Did you guys see? There was a quick.
Bill Paxton is in there.
Yeah, he was like operating the army phone or something. Yeah,
young Bill Paxton cameo.
Young Bill Paxton is in this. A scene that I really enjoyed that was like completely unrealistic is when they're chasing. Was it Sully, the little short guy?
Oh, Sully's great. Yeah, what a piece of shit.
They're chasing Sully, and they had to have been going at least 45 miles an hour.
Oh, yeah.
and they crash right into the pole.
Yeah.
Crash right in the pole. It immediately cuts to him and Ray Dong Chong. Immediate. And he goes, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "I'm fine." And they, like, no one's hurt. It's like the way they cut that scene and
Ray
edited it.
Dong Chong was sitting in nothing. There was no seat there.
She was not
ripped it
sitting
out.
Yeah, she should have went fucking flying out the fucking car.
There's no seatbelt. There's nowhere to plug this. Like, what is she strapped in with?
She should have been dead, and his head should have been like bashed against the steering wheel. And instead, the way they cut it, it's like, "Are you okay?" And she's like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And it's like, oh my god, this is insanely ridiculous.
The physics in a lot of these movies are so off. It's hilarious. Sully has a great line when they're in the club. He goes, "I remember." He goes, "This place used to be a great place for hunt and slash." He says, "Like, oh my god."
Are you talking about from Guns N' Roses or talking about vagina?
I don't know. He's looking for the guitarist. And then one-liners. Here's a great one-liner where when John finally gets Sully and he's holding him by the ankle over a cliff, and he's like, "This is my weak arm. It's getting tired." And then he goes, "Remember when I promised to kill you last? I lied." And he drops him. So good.
And then she says, "What did you do to Sully?" And he said, "I let him go."
I let him go.
Well, I like that they like take the fight scene with Bill Duke's character Cook.
Yeah.
They literally steal a line from the previous movie that he was in, because he's like, "Fuck you, asshole." He's like, "Fuck you, asshole," after the gun doesn't fire. Yeah. And that's literally from Terminator.
Well, doesn't he also say, "I'll be back"?
Yes.
He does say that.
"I'll be back" in this also.
They have him acting like
he's
Terminator.
Still acting like the Terminator. It makes no sense. All right, and then, okay, the third act is just a nonstop assault. There is so much shooting and explosions.
So let's quickly recap.
Yeah.
So Arnold jumps out of the plane.
Yeah.
Grabs Ray Dong Chong and then gets attacked by mall police, uses a giant balloon to swing on top of an elevator like Tarzan.
That's fantastic.
Chases Sully down, crashes the car with Ray Dong Chong in it. She doesn't die. He kills Sully. Yeah. Then they go to the motel that Sully had the keys to.
Right. To meet
and
Bill Duke's
then
character.
he gets into this fight with Bill Dukes to the death.
Yeah.
And then at this point, when I was a little child, one of them gets knocked through a door and there's a couple fucking and you see boobs. Okay. That is another reason that this movie is a total
there was
80s
boobies?
action.
I missed that in this. I missed that shot. Okay.
I was around that 1,000 times when I was like 11. You know,
whoever wrote that script had to have written it, and then some producer was like, "Gotta throw boobs in there."
You have to.
We have no
Where
boobs.
do we throw those boobs?
Where do we throw the boobs in?
Ray Dong Chong's not showing her boobs.
No, he rips her shirt open for a second, trying to make it sexy. I thought he was gonna just rip her, but yeah.
Nah, but we need to have. We're in a hotel. There has got to be boobs in this scene somehow.
Perfect. That's a perfect.
And they
place.
figured out a way to do it.
No, it's a convenient.
So that's
makes sense.
Gratuitous. Didn't need to be in it at all.
That box is checked. So they find out they got to go to the island Valverde, and they steal that amphibious plane, and the clock is ticking, and it's like a 2-hour flight, and they get there, and this is when we see him in the Speedo. For no reason, he's in the Speedo, paddling over. And then you got the strap-on montage, and I love when he's approaching the building, because apparently if you crouch and walk, nobody can see you. He's just in an open field with a river, but he's crouching so nobody can see him.
He's got camouflage on him.
And he's got barely any camouflage. I mean, it's camouflage, I guess, but he's carrying around a giant rocket launcher this whole time. It's very bulky, and he just starts murdering dudes. He just starts fucking shooting people. This is what I thought was interesting too. He doesn't know where his daughter is in the structure, yet he's planting landmines, and he blows up all these buildings that clearly have fake dummies in front of them. You could see the soldiers are just standing there because they're not real people. And I'm like, how did he know his daughter wasn't in any of those buildings?
I feel like this was one of the first movies. I think Rambo 2 came out that same year, but this is one of those first movies where they were like, we're going with it's the one man army thing, where it's just, he's just going to annihilate everybody by
And nobody
himself.
hits him.
And we're gonna write the script so that no one can shoot at him and hit him.
Never,
Yeah, like
there's so
what
much
kind of gun do
gunfire.
you never reload?
He has an M16 with the belt, right? You look at the ammo belt, and in one shot it's getting shorter, and it cuts to the next shot, and it's long again, and they just keep going. Like, he never needed to reload that M16.
He's got
and
the
they're- and
magic
they-
gun.
They keep finding like more and more ways for him to kill
He
people, so
slices
they're
the
using
guy's
different
Yeah, he
guns.
slices the dude's arm off. That was fantastic.
The arm off when he scalps the guy
Oh,
with the
yeah.
saw blade.
God.
I'm like, oh my god!
And also, can you shoot an M16 with one hand? Is that even possible? He
Arnold
does,
can hold a log up, so he
That's
can
true.
do
He
anything.
does that a
And
lot.
Sully up.
I'm
yeah,
like,
he can
there's
do
no
it.
way you can shoot this
Well,
fucking
the thing
machine
is
gun
though,
with
is like Arnold is so big at this point that you're kind of like, maybe he can do that. Like he's so big.
superhuman.
Yeah.
I mean, this is essentially a comic book superhero movie.
Do you think it's a letdown that the final boss is that dude who's really out of
Oh,
shape?
we got to talk about that guy. Fucking
Bennett.
what's his Bennett?
Bennett.
First off,
Vernon Wells.
that outfit he's wearing.
Yeah, why is he wearing like a fisherman's like mesh or
He's
something?
wearing-
I don't know.
It's
He's wearing
chainmail.
chainmail, yes.
He's wearing
Or
chainmail.
mesh.
Oh, that's
It's
what
some
it is.
kind of 80s dance mesh.
He's wearing chainmail, and yeah, you're right, Ruggs. He is. His arm, like, first off, put some sleeves on that guy. Like, why is that guy sleeveless? His arms, there's like negative muscle on his body, and like throughout the movie, there's kind of this like homoerotic thing that's going on where
Yes.
he's like always referring
Yes.
to. He's like, me and Matrix would kill everybody
Yeah.
here. Matrix this, Matrix that, and like. He has Matrix hurt, and the scene where he has him hurt, and Matrix is kind of like talking to him dirty, but like, "Hey, kill me with your
Oh
hands."
my God, they wanted-
and
they-
Matrix is like, "Yes, I will kill you." I wrote down, Matrix is orgasming at the thought.
Yeah,
Bennett
he's
is
just jizzing in
orgasming
his
at the thought
pants.
of killing Matrix right now.
Well, Bennett goes, I'm not going to shoot you between the eyes, John. I'm going to shoot you between the balls. Like, clearly they were involved. Clearly they had a thing for each other.
but that scene where he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you.
He's
I'm going
getting
to
off
get
on
you."
it. Jesus fuck.
He's like taking off the guns, and he's like they're doing the whole. This is like a classic '80s where it's like, kill me man to man, like one on
he
one.
convinces him to actually toss the gun when he had him. Like, I'm like, you could have just shot him and you've been fine. And no.
But that's got to be, if we're once we get to the rankings, that's got to be a drawback. Is like, this guy is just so unphysically intimidating.
Well, it's better than
That it's
Dan
just like,
Hedaya, who was supposed to be the fucking bad
Oh.
guy. Like, he's not intimidating.
that's aged really poorly. That's a terrible cast.
Dan Hedaya is not intimidating
Hispanic-
at all. Yeah.
Hispanic dictator.
Yeah, he had the
Why
such
Dan
a,
Hedaya?
Such a bad accent. I love that guy. He's great and things. Great character.
Terribly
actor.
miscast.
But wow, really bad accent.
Oh wait, I have to go back to the beginning of the movie where they attack him at his house.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Arnold shoots that guy in the head.
This is like. Well, he goes. I
he
love
so unceremoniously killed that
the
guy.
line is. Here's your one-liner. The guy's like, if you want your kid back, you're going to cooperate, right? He goes, wrong. It just shoots him in the head. And that's what he says, I'll be back. Yes.
There's two things I want to point out from the beginning of that movie. One, when that soldier's been protecting him, he's like, the soldier's like, or he's like telling him, like, you got to stay downwind. And he's like, what? You could like smell him or something? He's like, I did. So Arnold could smell these guys coming.
Yeah.
Then the scene where the car has the brakes taken out, and he's just like, fuck it. I'm pushing this down the hill, and I'm chasing after him in a car
Oh
with
my
no
God.
brakes. And there's a scene where they're like, he's going to hit us. That little convoy, they're like, he's going to hit us. Fucking stop the car, then. He's got no brakes. He'll drive right past you. But you keep driving, and you let him hit
And the
you.
car explodes for no reason. That happens in a lot of these movies.
Yeah,
Like, that car shouldn't
yeah.
have exploded at that point. But it
Cars
did.
always instantaneously explode.
It just kind of rolled over, and then
when they need to.
It exploded. Yeah. The beginning is great.
The beginning,
Yeah.
when we get to the end, so we're at the point where he fights Bennett, and he kills him, whatever, impales him, let off some steam.
Oh my God, that's the big
Bennett.
final line. Yes, with steam coming out of him.
And what's great is this kid is just seeing all this fucking like murder and shit.
Yes.
And it ends, and she like immediately like hugs Ray Dong Chong, which by all accounts is the first time they've ever
doesn't
met.
know who she
And they
is.
all just like hug, and they're like a happy family, and they're like,
she just
"See you
watched
later."
him murder this dude with a steam pipe, and then she turns and looks and goes, "Hi, Dad!" It's with a big smile. I was like, "Oh my dude, just see what the fuck happened." Also, he gets electrocuted at one point, doesn't die. He's fine.
he's like King
Oh,
Kong.
my-
It just makes him stronger.
Holy shit!
this might be the start of like '80s heroes just getting electrocuted and like not they're just cool with it. They
It was fine. No, later, yeah.
Mel Gibson gets electrocuted in Lethal Weapon.
Nothing- yeah, it's
We'll
fine.
talk about another movie
Yeah.
later. There were people get electrocuted.
And it's fine. No problem.
Yeah, no problem.
So I think, yes.
What was your reaction? You seen this? You hadn't watched it in a while. Where did you fall after the credits rolled?
I had a huge fucking smile on my face at the end of this. I was like, this was so much fun. I forgot. Oh my God. The one-liners, the explosions, the over-the-topness. Like, I was just like, that was great. I was like, that was fucking great. That's a great movie.
I had a very similar reaction. I was cheesing the entire time. I was laughing intentionally and unintentionally throughout the entire movie. And by the end, I was like, why was this good? And I was like, because it's just an easy movie. Like it's I mentioned 90 minutes. You have the ticking time clock to make, like, the premise is set up right there. He's got 11 hours to save his daughter, and you just let Schwarzenegger be Schwarzenegger, and let's just make him a comic book.
The action starts right away. They get right into it. I appreciated that.
It has that like synth music with steel drums.
You want to talk about the music?
Sounds like a Girls Gone Wild video.
This movie, this score has everything. It has synthesizers, it has saxophones, it has steel drums. That's the three things you need in an 80s action.
It's got them all.
It's got them all. So if we're gonna go by the criteria, right?
We'll do that at the end
for all of them. Okay.
Well, yeah, we'll come to a consensus on all three of like which one was the best amongst that criteria. But we could do the rating out of 10.
Okay. Let's rate this. Yeah, and at the end, he's got another line about, you're going to do this again, not a chance. And the guy's...
Unreal that they didn't make 10 sequels out. You got at least 3 sequels.
I mean, I want more John
ending.
Matrix. Jesus, fuck. What else has this guy been doing after
that ending literally writes itself for a sequel. Yeah. You going to come back for another mission? One more? No,
imagine
no chance.
The Matrix was about John
Matrix, and it was actually Arnold as Neo. Oh, my God.
Keanu goes, he takes the pill, and then he just goes, and he ends up in John Matrix's house.
Here's another great thing about the 80s. You could take an R-rated movie and make a toy line out of it. The Commando had a toy line.
Yeah, you could. Yeah, I had that figure. Yeah. The black undies.
Yep, they did it with RoboCop.
Take off all his clothes, and he'd be in his black undies.
Oh my God! So that's what I found. Yeah, no, I had a lot of fun from.
When I watched this movie, like I was like, damn, I haven't seen Commando in a while, and I remember like the last time I watched it was like not that long ago, maybe like 15 years ago or something. Like I don't know, it's a long time ago, I guess. But like I remember it was like I watched it, and like that's not really a good movie. But
no, it's not.
You know, but like, look at what's happened in the past like 15 years, like how entertainment's gotten so like samey.
Yeah.
And how like we've been like energized by like Cobra Kai and Peacemaker. And I was like, yeah, let's go back and revisit this and find out like why like all these callbacks to the 80s are happening. And there is a joy in watching it, as fucking ridiculous and bad, and just how like,
it's like pure
just the fact that they made this movie.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, we're going to make it. It's going to be, this is a huge blockbuster movie. Like this is going to be A+ entertainment.
Yeah. Movies have gotten long too. I noticed, like, you know, these are all tight 90-minute, 100-minute movies. You get it all done. And
there's just something about it that's just so like, doesn't give a fuck.
No, and it's fantastic. And there was so much shooting in that third act, I had to turn my television down. I was
all
like,
it wants to do, it doesn't want to tell you a great story. It doesn't want to convince you that anything is real. They just want to entertain.
Yes.
Are you not entertained?
And I think this movie succeeds in doing it. I think this is like an underrated Arnold gem from, you know, the 80s. It should be in his like top 10 movies.
Just for hilarity's sake.
Yes.
Just for like all of the fucking batshit crazy stuff that they make no attempt at explaining or even justifying. They just like fuck you. You're watching this movie. This is what's happening. Okay. Just go with it. All right.
So I'll start the rating. For me, talking 80s action movies, it definitely ticks all of the boxes we mentioned before. I'm giving it an 8 out of 10. There you go. Anthony.
Man, I hate when we agree, but I'm also going to give it an 8 out of 10. The only reason it's not higher is it's not actually like creme de la creme 80s, early 90s action movie. Like we've kind of discussed some of them. I can talk about them again later, some other ones, but it's not like that level where you could actually put this on objectively and be like, this is a good film. Right. But it's so fucking it's so in its lane and like so wacky that it's just like, again, unintentionally and so intentionally funny that I had a great time, and it's an easy watch. So 8 out of 10.
Yeah, I love Arnold. I love his charisma. I love silly shit. Knowing that it's going to be silly, like knowing that there's no intention of actually trying to make a good movie, and I was entertained thoroughly. So 7.5 for me.
Nice. Yeah. No, this is definitely a surprisingly fun rewatch.
Yeah.
Where does this? How this isn't Arnold's best movie? Would anyone say that?
It's not his top tier.
What would you say if you had to give its top tier movies?
I mean,
like one or two of them.
Like, I don't know. There's all different eras of Arnold. Like,
I mean, I go to Terminator 2 right away, and the Terminators, and the first Conan movie.
Yeah, I love the first Conan, even though he doesn't really act in that either. But he is Conan. Like he's fucking Conan. All right, you can't not watch that movie and go, this guy was in fucking Conan.
Oh, and then
my top tier Arnold, and I haven't seen all of them, so you guys are a little bit more of the authority on this, but if I had to go off the movies I've seen, I'd say Terminator 2 and Predator.
Total Recall, I think, is up there.
Total Recall is really good.
I would also put True Lies up there a little bit.
Yeah,
that era of Arnold is when he was actually becoming a pretty decent actor.
Yeah, I mean, he was great in Last Action Hero.
Hero, I would put up there.
Like, I hate that movie because of the kid, but Arnold's great in that movie.
And
he's
then,
fucking
honestly,
killing it in that movie.
I would put this movie right after all those movies. I will put Commando there.
This one's a good one. This one is, again, like, historically is the one that really solidified him as like, oh, we can use him as a lead and just like have him destroy people.
I mean,
like Terminator, he's the villain. Conan is kind of its own little thing. But this is the one where it's like put a gun in his hands and let him work.
Well, it's the first role he had where he's kind of just playing like a person, a relatable person.
Well, this is the thing. Right. Conan was a franchise.
Right.
It's a character from, well-known character from a long time ago. He was embodying this kind of like Tom Holland being Spider-Man or something. He was embodying this thing that, and then the Terminator, he was the bad guy. So for him to actually be a hero, unattached from anything, just Arnold, his name recognition alone, like his charisma alone, I think, it's a big breakout for him.
If you look at like the movies he did after this, you're just like, holy shit, he went on a run. Because you go, he did Commando, and it's like, okay, he's a star. Yeah. Then you got Raw Deal, Predator, Running Man, Red Heat, Twins, Total Recall, Kindergarten Cop, Terminator 2, Last Action Hero. Like, he just goes on a streak where it's like, yeah, he's just killing movies now.
I mean, from 85 on, I think he ruled until the early 90s.
This was the one, though. Yeah. This was the one that really, like, solidified him as, like, oh, we have he's a star. He's not only, like, in Terminator, he's great as a robot, but this one's like, oh, he can be a lead and fucking destroy everything.
Yeah, he could play someone's father and kill people. That was the key. He barely pretends to care for his daughter. Yeah, so, I mean, I think this is a big piece of, in his career. A big turning point. All right, good stuff, listener. Check out our swag. We have a TeePublic shop, jockandnerd.com/shop, where you can get t-shirts with Rug Boy's face with the Jock and Nerd logo, or
Rug Boy approved.
You can get. Oh, I don't even have that one.
I got it.
You got it. That actually sounded just like the clip. There's also cell phone cases, mugs, pillows, lots of fun stuff. There's lots of sales. Support the show. Show your love. Wear a Niche Podcast t-shirt out and about in the world. We'll take a quick break here for some promos. We're not done. We got 2 more excellent 80s action movies to go through right after this.
After these messages, we'll be right back.
Hey there, everyone. Brian here, host of TV Trivia Pod. It's a trivia-style podcast focusing on TV and movies. Listen in for questions like, what's the name of Michael Scott's screenplay? What do you say to view the Marauders map? And what's everyone eating in the post-credit scene of Avengers? Play along to TV Trivia Pod anywhere you get podcasts. And stay tuned for more trivia.
Called The Working Man's Nerdist, Tales from the Fandom is a weekly podcast where David talks with a guest about the fandoms that they love. Whether it's classics like Star Trek, Star Wars and Tolkien, or new ones like Game of Thrones or Harry Potter. Anime, books, TV shows, movies, role-playing, video games, cosplay and more are discussed. Each episode is different based on the guest. No fandom is too big or too small. Subscribe to Tales from the Fandom and join in on the fun.
Jock and Nerd Podcast.
Listener, if you enjoy this very podcast, you should support this very podcast. Join our fan club. Visit jockandnerd.com/Patreon.
Jock and Nerd.
There is a link in the show notes that'll take you to our Patreon page, and you will be supporting the show, ensuring that it keeps going. You can get cool stuff like a bonus podcast RSS feed where the shows come out early. There's instant reactions. For example, this week we will have our instant reactions up for Matt Reeves' The Batman opening this week. We'll talk about that a little bit later. That is right out of the theater reaction or shortly thereafter before we can even process the movie. Put those up. You also get to hang out with us on Discord. We do private Patreon-only monthly Discord Geek Hangouts. We just had one last week, Ruggs. Who was there? Who was our big honored guest this week?
Oh, we had Wes Cranford.
Wes motherfucking Cranford from Australia and his son. We had two people from Australia, but we finally got to meet Wes in person. It was great.
We had two generations of the Cranford clan.
I mean, this guy's been with us since like almost the beginning, and it was just great to like.
He was very cool to talk to. I really appreciate our fans, especially ones that have stuck with us since the beginning. It keeps us going to know that people are like listening and enjoying the show. And it's great to talk to everyone and get to know them. So I'm glad that we have this Discord. It's great.
I love these monthly hangouts. The next month, March's hangout will be Thursday, March 24th, 8 p.m. Central Time here in the U.S. So sign up and you can hang out in that one. The more, the merrier. Okay, Anthony, you are up.
Yeah, so my pick, if you probably cannot, well, maybe you know in the title, that it's out of two movies now. My pick was Bloodsport from 1988. And as a child, I think I definitely owned this movie and probably watched it. It was one of those movies where if it was on TV, I was watching it. I was throwing it on TV for like my cousins who were into like fighting. Like this was one of my fucking favorite movies as a kid. It's even as an adult, like not an adult, but even as a teenager. It's probably been 15, 16 years since I've seen it.
Oh man.
But one of my all-time favorites when I was growing up. So Bloodsport starring Jean-Claude Van Damme, kind of his on the theme of like Commando, kind of his kind of breakout movie.
Okay.
Where people were like, oh, you can do shit. Like, this is kind of cool. Obviously one of the big 80s and early 90s action stars of our time. What is Bloodsport about? Similar to Commando, it's a very tight movie, 90 minutes. Basically, Jean-Claude Van Damme, it's based on a true story, and I put that in quotes because this true story is not really
Very
all that true.
Yeah,
very, very questionable.
Really, that guy was full of bullshit.
Based on the exploits of Frank Dukes, who won the Kumite, which is this international underground fight organization. Jean-Claude Van Damme's playing Frank Dukes, and he's basically in the Kumite because his trainer's son died as a kid or as a teenager, and he's participating in the Kumite to honor his dying trainer, with whatever the fuck his name is, Tanaka, who's a Shidoshi in this one. Yeah, and it's basically just a tournament movie where he's in a tournament fighting for honor and also befriending people, meeting a girl, and fighting off a villain that's diabolical.
Yeah, this one also commercial success, made for the cheapest movie on the list. It says $1.5 to $2 million, and it makes also $50 million.
Wow.
And I think the VHS sales were also big for this.
Yeah.
Directed by Newt Arnold, which I don't know
Who the fuck is that?
who that is. I don't think he did anything else after that.
It's kind of like this thing in the 80s. They just like
One and done's.
They're like, all right, does this guy have muscles? Yes. Does he have some weird accent? Yes. All right, let's get him in a movie.
This is one of like two movies Newt directed. This is the last movie he directed. So
what was his other movie?
It's called Bloodthirst in 1971.
Oh, he likes to direct movies with blood in the tank.
Yeah, then he went on being a second unit director, assistant director. Didn't want. He's like, nah, you know what? I don't want to be the big guy. Also, here's what's notable: when this movie starts, you see the Canon Film logo. That should tell you everything you need to know about what you're going to get into. It is a Canon Film.
Yeah, Canon was notorious for making these cheap ass movies and like just cranking them out and just kind of like playing hard and loose with the way that they make films, like breaking all kinds of laws and all kinds of shit.
Yeah.
So it definitely is like almost like a B movie or a cult movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely. So upon rewatch, because I did rewatch it for the show, I was immediately like, this is also kind of intentionally and unintentionally funny.
Yes.
There was a lot of
Oh my God.
things going on. I will say just right off the bat, if you can get over the like truly atrocious first 10 minutes of him as a child, as a teenager, like the movie still kind of holds up as a simple formatted tournament movie. It's literally like they looked at Karate Kid and they looked at Rocky IV and they're like, let's combine that and make it into a martial arts movie.
You have your training montage, you got your sidekick characters, and then you got a tournament style thing. But the beginning, first of all, he escapes from the military. Frank Dux was in the military. I find it hard to believe this foreign guy with this accent is in the U.S. military. I just I'm not buying that.
They don't care.
I want to point out right away some truly atrocious ADR in that scene where the general's talking to Frank Dux, and it's like, this is definitely ADR. Like, he's not saying
any of those words. And,
but before you even get into that, though, the movie starts off really cleverly with just music and all these, like, video game characters training in their own martial arts.
Oh, yeah.
So you're like,
That's
right away,
pretty cool.
you're like, oh, this is like, you kind of know right off the bat, this is a fight movie. Like, everyone's fighting. This is their training for something.
You see Bolo Young kick the ice bricks in the beginning, right? Right in the beginning.
Oh, yeah. You see, I mean, you see the black guy playing an ape. I don't know what the fuck he's doing.
Oh my God, this
like
monkey
getting
style.
Coconuts.
Of course, the black guy is using monkey style fight techniques. That's not right.
You see like Paco, who's like the French like Muay Thai guy. You see the big sumo wrestler. Like you right away, you're like they establish. It's like Mortal Kombat before Mortal Kombat, where you're like scrolling through the video game characters, and you're like, I can play this guy. I can be this guy.
It reminded me of a fight game, but it starts with a really weird long double flashback. Which I was like, huh.
That flashback takes forever.
It's so long.
And it keeps cutting back to Jean-Claude Van Damme's face, like the scowl.
Staring just staring into the sword.
The young Tanaka and like the later Tanaka, like he didn't age. I was confused where we were.
Did he put like any gray hair or
because
nothing?
he looked the same the whole time.
No, man. Yeah.
Not at all.
And that kid, that American kid is supposed to be him. And
that guy is so funny and so bad at the same time.
And he's had this weird accent ever since he was a little kid. What is going on here? And that really threw me.
That scene where he steals the sword and gets caught.
Yes.
You realize I believe he's wearing a New York Giants shirt.
Yes.
Jersey,
and
right?
He's wearing a San Francisco Giants hat.
They just grabbed any random fucking sports
grab the Giants stuff and throw it on him.
What's an American?
Give him some American things.
Let's make some American. But you do get the fucking awesome training montage where he first gets thrown a lot over and over again. But then you got the old grab a fish. You got the old blindfolded training. You got the splits. He does the splits a lot.
This is the establishment of the fact that Jean-Claude Van Damme can do the splits, and we're gonna show this a lot.
Oh my God, he's doing the splits all the time, and every 10 minutes he gets stretched by ropes. That I thought was great.
I mean, that was a kind of a badass scene where he's stretched and then he like pulls the poles back together.
He's strong,
to, like stand up.
When he flexes, dude, he looks like a comic book drawing of a superhero character. I'm like,
oh yeah, I mean,
oh my God.
if we're getting homoerotic, his body that's like a top 5 body of all time.
Every muscle is defined. I didn't think that was possible.
We're talking about some of the best bodies in the world in these 3 movies.
Yeah, I think in his frame, his size for like that size, holy shit.
He's only like 5'9".
Yeah, he's a tiny little guy.
But he is. I mean, there's all the cocoa butter rubbed on him. He is looking amazing.
That and also very low cut tank tops is the fashion. I was like, why does half of your boobies sticking out?
You need to see my cleavage.
I love Donald Gibb in this as Jackson, Ogre from the Revenge of the Nerds. Fucking Donald Gibb's character and their camaraderie. Like,
the Donald Gibb, Jean-Claude Van Damme, like I didn't remember. I remember them being friends.
That's a bromance.
But I didn't remember. Yeah, exactly. I didn't remember that how much of like a touching bromance they actually had in this movie.
Ogre from Revenge of the Nerds.
And they're playing that video game, Kung Fu Master, the arcade game. I fucking played that game in the arcades. I was like, oh shit, I used to play that. It had 2 joysticks to do the moves. It was like way before Street Fighter and any of that shit. That was the fighting game.
What does he say? He's like, aren't you too old to be
playing video or something?
He starts off like Gibbs said something. He's like, aren't you too old to be playing video games? And then they're like immediately best friends.
Yeah. I was surprised. They really
even
connected.
though Donald Gibbs' character is like super gross, right? Because the first scene you see him, he's on the bus and he just starts hitting on that Asian lady. It's like, you want to be with a fighter?
Oh my god!
And Jean-Claude Van Damme's character looks at it and just like shakes his head like, fucking guy.
Do you remember that scene where that guy, where Ogre is hitting a punching bag and that guy walks over to him and asks him about the Kumite?
Yeah.
And it's like the worst acting that you've ever seen.
Oh, it's so bad. That like I said, that first 10 to 15 minutes might be some of the worst acting you'll ever see in your life.
What about the death touch? What is it called? Like the dim mock? Is that a real thing? How does that work? How did he get that brick at the bottom to fucking explode like?
It's not a real bullshit.
What is the fucking guy that's like their trainer or like their like handler for the weekend?
Yeah, that guy, yes.
Lynn?
Yeah.
It's like, what does it matter if he's a Sadoshi? He's like, Bruce Springsteen could be his Sadoshi. Like, what does it matter?
Like, you can be Tanaka.
And when you see the brick crack, like that's a cool scene, right?
Yeah.
And then that's the first line there where you hear Bolo Young, who by the way is playing a Korean, and he's like definitely Chinese.
That's
he's
a Korean flag. Yeah.
Yeah, on his head.
Chong Li. It's great.
Bolo Young, you get him. That's like he's like, that's good, but brick not hit back. And like you see him say that, and from that point on, I'm like, I don't know if he said any of those fucking lines. That might have been all ADR.
Oh, somebody else dubbed in. Yeah, I don't think he speaks English.
I don't think he's saying any of that.
We do find out Chong Li's a bad motherfucker. He killed the dude the last time and killed a bunch of dudes.
I think that they allude that it was the brother, or like his adopted brother, or whatever.
Whose brother?
Jean-Claude Van Damme's.
Oh, that's who he killed.
Shidoshi's son.
No. That's from Kickboxer. Kickboxer is when the evil villain kills his brother.
He does Kickboxer later.
He does Kickboxer later. Yeah,
years later.
Kickboxer is basically Bloodsport.
Yeah, I mean it's the same movie. I love the fight montage, but let me ask you this: did I see this right? Was there a moment where this guy gets a flying kick to the head and he spins the wrong way? Like he spins the way the
100%
came. I was like, wait a minute. Why did he turn this way when the guy kicked him from this way?
There's some punches that like are choreographed really well in kicks. There's some that clearly don't land.
Oh, there's some that you see, from a mile away. The guy didn't get close, but some of it looks not bad.
No, some of it there's some true athleticism.
There's like one guy. He doesn't even look like he knows how to do karate. He kind of looks like Screech.
Oh yes.
Yes,
he just looks so bad. I think he's fighting the black dude.
He fights Gibb. Donald Gibb whoops his ass.
He fucks him up. That's the first guy he fucks up. Yeah.
No. There's another guy that's even worse. I think. There's some really bad. Like if you're not looking at the main guy, there's some really bad guys, especially the white dudes that are really terrible. They're uncoordinated.
I do have to say though, right? Like when we're talking about villains, like especially in comparison to the last movie. Right away, they established Bolo Young as Chong Li as like one of the baddest motherfuckers. Like the music is like dun,
and you're waiting. You're like, this is gonna be the last guy.
The first fight scene, he knocks the guy out in like a record time, and like his celebration where he has like the crazy eyes and he's just like pumping his arms up and down,
like Chong Li,
and he's got like this is like peak steroid era, right?
It's
so like
huge.
His chest is like unimaginable. Like it's so it's like the world is on his fucking body.
He's huge.
I mean, he is. I remember even as a kid, I'm like, my God, that man he's a terrifying man. That's a terrifying human being to look at. They do a fantastic job of making Bolo Young like diabolical. In that fucking Kumite.
Menacing. And you're the whole time you're waiting. You're like, oh, I can't wait till he has to fight fucking Dukes.
But that's the thing. Like this movie, like we talked about, like some other stuff where they don't establish the villain right away, and you don't really know what you're looking forward to. Like this movie, right off the bat, is like Jean-Claude Van Damme's sexy ass versus Bolo Young.
We're building.
This is what we're building
to
towards.
this.
We're going to use a tournament to do this.
Let's talk about like some of the subplots here.
I was going to say there's a little bit of story because you have Forrest Whitaker in here running around chasing him, and then you got a reporter. And he does bang the reporter, so that happens.
Yeah, so the guys from the army are trying to track him down because he went AWOL to do this Kumite. So there's 2 army guys looking for Frank Dutz, and they're going to the police, and they're going to the local police and trying to figure it out. And then there's a girl reporter that's trying to find out about the Kumite.
She wants in.
And, Jean-Claude Van Damme saves her from this guy who's for some reason wearing a headdress with a gold tooth.
Is this an Asian Arab fighter?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
That actor is definitely like Filipino or Asian, and he's definitely playing someone from the Middle East.
So the whole Arab contingent, they had it all wrong because they had that dude in front, and there was like definitely Indian guys behind him. None of these
my
people
favorite
were
guy is
Arab.
my favorite guy in the whole movie who has the line like right there where the girl rejects him, and then I forgot what he says, but his face was like there's no expression on his face as he says it.
That guy could act less than everyone else in the movie.
What did he say? And it was something about him not needing a real man or something. I don't remember, but like it was.
Well, they're doing the whole like 80's trope where it's like girl in a bar, the evil guy just shows how badass he is, and he's like just intimidates the girl to take her back home. It's like, I'm so badass that even if you say no to me, I'm just going to take you home and like take advantage
manhandle
of
you.
Yeah, because I'm just a man, and this is how things work in this fucking world.
And then Jean-Claude Van Damme comes and like there's a knight in shining armor, but he's got ulterior motives.
The thing is, this wouldn't work well either because he's the knight in shining armor, but he's like, I'll challenge you to a game for the girl.
Oh, he does.
He's like it's like a parlor trick. He's like, if you can take this out of my hand, or if I can take this out of your hand before I get it, I get to keep her.
It's like now you're mine.
And she just is like, what the fuck? I'm standing right here. What are you guys talking about?
That is true. I didn't even think about it that way.
Like, definitely does not age well.
He's like, I win.
Then
she's
she
mine.
actually like starts using her
womanly wiles,
feminine wiles to like
get what she wants,
manipulate Jean-Claude to get her into the Kumite.
But she gets into the fight without him.
Wait, before you get into that, this is a theme here. They do the sex scene. You don't see any boobs.
No, you don't even see any sex.
You cut to Jean-Claude Van Damme putting his underwear on.
Yes,
you see his ass.
You see his ass and him in underwear.
Yes, we'll see. So this is like a good middle ground because the next movie you see a lot more. And before we just saw Arnold in the Speedo. Now you got Jean-Claude Van Damme putting on the Speedo. It's a little transition. Absolutely. I was like, you didn't show me the boobs. But are there boobs in this movie at all?
There are no boobs.
This one has
zero boobs.
No boobs.
I love Forrest Whitaker has a great line with when he has the taser. And he got.
I mean, if you count Chong Li's boobs,
that counts.
Or the sumo wrestler guy has.
I was going to say there's a lot of male boobs.
Male boobs. Yeah, there's a lot of male boobs.
But Forrest Whitaker goes, "You want to shit Sparks?" as he threatens him with the fucking taser. It's great.
I mean that scene, that subplot that Rug Boy was mentioning, where the agents, I guess, are trying to get him back.
Yeah.
Like, there's a whole chase scene.
There's a chase scene, yes.
Where it's like
he's
Barney and Fife are fucking chasing
I know,
this guy.
he's just playing with them.
Like,
it was like some fucking like Benny Hill shit.
It was. He's sitting down waiting for them. He's like, I'm over here, guys. Come get me.
It was literally
like, what are you doing?
We want to do this funny chase scene, and we want to show off how beautiful Hong Kong is.
Yeah.
So we're just going to have these guys, like, stumble over each other trying to chase this fucking guy, and they have no chance whatsoever.
Jean-Claude is all graceful and comedic, you know.
Incompetent cops. I did like that they filmed it all on location in Hong Kong. That was kind of cool.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like, these movies didn't have the luxury of just being in front of a green screen.
Yeah,
so they were like, well, we're making a movie in Hong Kong about the Kumite. We got to go to Hong Kong. Like, this is what we're doing.
And they say Kumite a lot, and they sing it. The music is great, especially when they're singing Kumite.
The music, I throw on that fucking Kumite song.
Stan Bush.
Yeah.
By Stan Bush.
Yeah.
The music, that fucking pumps me up all the time. I've been driving with that in the car.
That is good workout music.
Kumite, Kumite.
So the fight montage is great, and let's get to the final couple of showdowns, because what happens is Chong Li has to fight Jackson, right? And he fucks. I thought he killed Jackson initially. He fucks him up bad, sends him to the hospital.
Up in the hospital.
He's got a hard fucking head.
Yeah. I thought he was dead.
Well, they do a good job, like, of escalating Chong Li, right? So, like, first fight knocks the guys out in world record. Jean-Claude Van Damme beats that. So Chong Li's, like, pissed.
Yeah.
So, like, one of the next fight, he takes out Michael Kissy and breaks his fucking leg.
Yeah,
and you
oh,
see
yeah.
that fucking. Even as a kid, I remember that was like, oh
They
my
show
god,
the bone.
Yeah, his leg comes out.
Yes.
Of
compound
his bone
fractures
sticks
his
out.
fucking
The bone.
leg.
Yeah.
Then he like beats up his best friend and fucking curb stomps his best friend, right?
Yeah.
Then he, by the end, before the final fight, he kills a man.
Yeah, he does kill
in
it,
the
dude.
fucking.
Right in the ring.
guy's like completely incapacitated, and he fucking takes his head out with like a palm.
That was
And they, like,
crazy. They stand
the whole
up.
Kumite,
yeah, they
like
turn around.
stands up. Like they really do a good job of being like, oh my god,
So-
like this guy's diabolical, and we got to kill him.
That was like a moment of silence for that fallen warrior kind of thing. That's what
Yep.
I kind of read. I was like, oh,
Oh, yeah.
fuck. And he's all
they were
pissed.
they were all like, it was one of those where it was like you had him beat.
Yeah,
You
it was
didn't have to fucking
dishonorable.
kill him.
Yeah, you didn't have to kill him. But and at this point, also before the final fight, we have seen Van Damme do this great splits nut punch, his
Oh.
signature move.
They do a great job with Van Damme too. Like his first fight,
Yeah.
world record,
Yep,
right?
yep.
There's the fight with the with the African American guy that like
Monkey style.
no, not that
Oh,
guy.
not that guy.
The one that like for whatever reason is in the movie for like 2 seconds, but like gives him the throat slash
Oh,
and like
right.
breaks.
Oh, right.
And he just knocks him out
Yeah,
right away.
yeah.
There's the giant sumo guy that he takes out.
One dude
Like,
barely put up a fight at all. It went down right away. I think
Yeah,
that's what
he-
you're talking about.
Jean-Claude Van Damme does the split and like punches the sumo guy like in the nuts.
That's
like, it looked like he
fucking
was like
nuts.
fisting his asshole. Like it was like really in there.
And then an
Yeah.
underrated fight is him and Paco where they're doing the kick to
Oh,
the bodies
that's
of each
right.
other.
He's
I'm
letting
like,
him
this
kick
is
him.
fucking badass.
He's just taking the kicks.
Yeah.
Because that was like part of the training, you know. And he's just
they're,
like, come
they're
on.
just literally like, who can kick each other in the ribs harder?
Yeah.
So then when he finally fights the last guy,
Chong Li, and you're like, oh shit, this is it.
Chong Li has to cheat.
I know that guy's a fucking cheater. He throws a fucking salt pill crumbled up into his eye.
Which leads up to one of the best moments of Jean-Claude Van Damme acting that you've ever
now,
seen.
yes, now you're stretching his acting where he's pretending to act blind. Of course, blindfold training coming in
No,
handy.
this is what happens.
Yeah.
Can I explain
Yes,
this?
you describe it.
So Chong Li gets a little like pill that he squishes into a powder and throws it into Jean-Claude Van Damme's eyes, and he can't see. He's blinded. So, as usually when you're blinded, you have crazy eyes and then you scream in slow motion.
Well, I don't know why
for about 2 minutes.
Why is he screaming? I'm like, that dude's out there. He's going to punch you. Why are you screaming? He's just like,
I think he's supposed to show that he's like frustrated with what's
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah, how about
it's
you
great.
keep your calm in a moment like this, fucking Frank Dukes?
And then
This is
he-
what they trained you to do?
Then he brilliantly uses his leg to create this like perimeter like kick.
Oh, yeah.
So he can try to find where he is and then like kind of graze him and like it was kind of fun.
And he uses like the referee to like get his bearings
Right.
of where he is.
He didn't punch the referee. He knew that was the referee, even though he's blind.
Right.
But this is the blindfold training flashback where he can serve tea blindfold.
Right.
Callback to
Yeah,
it, yeah.
callback.
Well, one of the funny things though about that scene that I noticed upon rewatch is in the beginning of the movie, the Kumite ring is like a flat surface.
Yeah, this was
But then
confusing.
by the end,
It's wedged
it
in the
turns
middle.
into like a skate park.
Yeah, why is it on a ramp now?
Because it pushes them towards each other.
Right. It just there was
Why
no
is it
hard to
consistency
back
in the
up?
Why didn't it
there was
start
no
like that?
consistency
Yeah.
in the ring.
Yeah.
Like they clearly, I think they wanted it to be the skate park type thing.
Yeah.
But like depending on the scene, they had to like make it a flat
If
surface
you
so they
look
could
at the
do more
beginning of the
stuff.
movie, the master trains him in that kind of ring.
Oh, I
yeah,
noticed
yeah,
that
the
too.
ring is sloped like that. So I feel like they never explain it, but I think it's because at when it comes to the last battle, the ground is like
Use it.
you have
Yeah.
it pushes you towards it. It's harder to back up, so it kind of keeps the fighters at each other
I was confused too. I was like, why is the floor pitched up like that?
and
now?
off balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean that music though during the ending fight scene where he's like they're like ding 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 ding, and he's like doing the jump kicks where you like this is the establishment that like holy shit, like Jean-Claude Van Damme is athletic as fuck because he's just doing jumping, turning side
And they
kicks
look
over
great.
and over. They look amazing.
Yeah, the flying fucking sidekick. It's like perfect when you freeze it.
Well, it's kind of one. It's weird because if you're watching like Jackie Chan, like all throughout the like early '80s, like he's been doing this shit like all day long.
Sure.
But for a person that is not in the Hong Kong cinema to be moving this gracefully
Yeah.
and not only that, but is that built too, has that
That's
much
the
of a
thing.
physique. So it was a combination of things you didn't really see. You never saw a guy with like this Arnold physique. Like if you took Arnold and shrunk him down,
Yeah.
and then all of a sudden gave him like some Bruce Lee-esque or some great like martial arts moves, like, you know, being able to put his legs up in places and move his body in a certain way. It was something you never saw before, really.
What about that move where he flips over Chong Li and then you just see his leg come up from in front of him and kick Chong Li in the back? That was amazing. I was like, what happened there? Wait a minute. But those splits, that's not easy to do, to hold those splits at all.
I mean, he has to have done the splits six or seven times in the movie.
At least.
And there's one point where Donald Gibb catches him doing the splits, and he's like, his line goes, he's like, man, that just hurts me looking at it.
Yes.
And then he goes, man, you might want to stop that. You might want to have some kids someday.
Like, he's just in his hotel room, like on two chairs.
On two chairs doing the fucking splits.
But the most impressive one is the one where he's doing the splits on the top of that
building.
roof.
Yeah, that's a great shot. That's a cool shot.
That's got to be real. Like they definitely were like, yo, can you do the splits on top of that thing, like, on top of this fucking gigantic building?
He's like, I'll go do it.
I don't know if that's real or not. I don't know.
How would they fake
that? It's a great shot.
I don't know. I know that the Canon doesn't have the money to like do it, but like,
well, you know, they snuck up there and just fucking shot it. But that was like a helicopter shot or something too.
Yeah. I was like, whoa. Yeah. There's a couple things I wrote down. There's some random things from this fucking movie. So right off the bat, when they're going to the Kumite, like, there's a weird cut where like they cut to this like grainy footage where they're like trying to make this like a horror movie going through this alley.
Oh, right. Yeah. The hallway.
And it's like, whoa, this is like, it looks way different than the rest of the movie. Like, it's definitely not filmed on the same film.
That's the scene where the guys are there and they find him and then the officer goes, get him, and just two guys come out of two different doorways.
This is the beginning.
Oh, in the very beginning.
That what you're talking about is the end. I'm talking about the beginning when they first like go through the underground tunnel. To go to the
okay.
That one. There's a couple scenes where I laughed. There's the one where when Jean-Claude Van Damme fights the Asian Arab.
Yes.
And he knocks his fucking tooth out, and the janitor sees it and like fucking just takes it.
Bites it. Is this real gold?
He bites it first.
Yeah, it's real gold. I'm taking this.
He bites it.
That was funny. That was good.
There's the scene where at the end, like, Jean-Claude Van Damme's late, right? And that bookie loves Frank Dux, and he's like, late, never too late. And he sticks the money in, and Jean-Claude Van Damme shows up.
He grabs the money
and
back.
he immediately takes the money
I caught that too. My other favorite part is by the end of it, the fucking cops are cheering him on too. The guys who are trying to get him, they're like, yeah, Frank, and they're all into it.
One of my favorite lines is when the cops are at the restaurant, and then the Asian cop shows up, that, you know, from the town, and he's like, I never eat here. He just says it like,
and then fucking they're like, they're playing it off like the food is so bad that like Forrest Whitaker takes his meal and feeds it to, like, throws it to the dog.
And the dog doesn't eat it either. The dog's like, I'm not eating this.
And they're just like, it's like,
Jesus.
Hong Kong can't make good. Like, what are you guys doing?
What is it?
What is this say?
A lot of competition, man.
There was one more. I have to just find this real quick. They're in the extras. Whenever they cut to the crowd, there's this old, like, 70-year-old man that like waves his arms every time. It's like the same shot every time. He's just like waving his arms. I couldn't stop laughing.
You're like,
at
that guy. What about that guy?
Yeah, I mean, so many freaking. I mean, the movie is like, it appeals because, again, like similar to Commando, it's just like quintessential 80s, strong, gigantic person or looking someone that like looks very physically tough versus a diabolical villain, and you just make it a tournament, and it's just like the movie writes itself.
Yeah, this has the trope of the tournament trope. This adds another level now, which is the tournament trope. It adds martial arts where Arnold is just shooting them up and, like, you know, doing fisticuffs. This adds like a level of martial arts, and you get exposed to some martial arts. You get exposed to some culture. You get to see some, you know, Asian culture during this film.
Well, Anthony, is this what got you into like MMA and UFC? It seems to be very early predecessor to a mixed martial arts thing that happened.
Yeah, I mean, this was one of my favorite movies, so I could say, yeah, it was was one of those movies that eventually pushed me towards enjoying real fighting.
That makes sense.
I mean, I remember watching this with my cousin, and we'd be like talking about how, at the time, how real we thought it looked. We were like, "This is amazing! Like, this is an insane." Movie.
Yeah, it's a perfect capture of the time. It did have 3 direct-to-video sequels that Jean-Claude Van Damme is not in.
Not involved. No.
Probably. Have you watched any of those?
No,
Yeah, I don't think they're worth watching.
No.
But wow, fun movie.
Yeah.
Let's rate it. What would you give it?
Man, this is a tough one. I'm gonna go 7.5 out of 10. I think Commando is a little better in terms of the rating overall. I think what draws us back is the first 10-15 minutes is truly atrocious.
Yeah.
Van Damme is not a very good actor at all in this movie either. Like the part where he Donald Gibbs about to get his head stomped and he's like, "Stop! No!"
Oh yeah,
It's
that's
like,
great.
oh, no.
That's
This
great.
is so bad. But similar to Commando, lots of unintentional comedy, lots of actually intentional comedy, and I mean, this is the quintessential, like one of the quintessential white guy martial arts tournament movies, and Bolo Young is awesome.
Bolo
Like,
Young
he's
is
fucking
great.
so
He's
good
just
in this movie.
such a presence. But yeah, it's the white guy goes to Hong Kong and beats all the Asian people in there.
Yeah, it's kind of the white savior thing, but it's fun and it's even more fun because Frank Dukes was like super involved in the movie and like he's just become like revealed as a complete sham. So like that's just the story behind the movie's funny. Everything's just like, and it's Jean-Claude Van Damme's like kind of his break. It does. At the end,
it does tell you that it's based off of Frank Dukes, and then simple Google search, and you realize Frank Dukes was full of bullshit for a lot of these stories. Like he's wearing fucking Halloween military costumes and wrong medals and pictures, and the guy's full of bullshit.
He's so full of shit.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it. Looking at the criteria here, it doesn't quite tick all the boxes, but the boxes it does tick. It more than makes up. It does it all the way. You know, your macho lead, the action, the music, the villains. So I'm also going to give it a 7. I could have used some more explosions. Would I put that? But I don't know where you put an explosion. It's not an explosion movie, obviously.
No.
But I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Ruggs, what about you?
I think I'm also going to go 7 out of 10. I feel like this movie is very memorable. That's number one. You don't forget it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely memorable. It does have like I always laugh when I see young Frank Dukes. I was going to say Jean-Claude Van Damme, but it's young Frank Dukes. That kid with the bad accent makes me laugh every time. I always fucking laugh my ass off at how bad that
awkward.
is. It's got so much first of all, it's the cheapest movie of all of them that we're talking about. It's like $1 million movie, maybe 1.5.
Yeah.
It's a B movie.
Yeah.
And it does for that B movie price tag, you do get a pretty compelling tournament film. You know?
Yeah.
That probably stands up to something that's twice its price easily. So I feel like that you get your bang for your buck, even though, it's very evident that they made this with zero money and inexperienced actors. And even the director, his edits and the way the movie's pieced together is kind of very like that montage in the beginning where he's looking at the sword.
Yeah.
It just goes on forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
It could have used a little bit more panache, but it still holds up as a tournament film. So it's a miracle film, I think. So I enjoyed it. I was entertained thoroughly. I love the soundtrack. It's great. So it's one of the good ones.
Okay, and then where does this land in the Jean-Claude?
Well, one more thing I wrote down. I got to say it. There's the scene after Donald Gibbs' character gets stopped.
Yeah.
And he's in the hospital.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize it till I'm watching it this last time. He's on the bus and they have another Stan Bush song playing.
Yes.
And he sees Chong Li in the glass.
Yeah.
They stole that from Rocky IV.
Wait, but he was imagine he wasn't really there, right? He thought he saw him.
They stole that from Rocky
Really?
IV when Rocky IV. Yeah, Rocky IV when Apollo Creed dies.
He sees him.
Stallone is going in his car with the song playing and he's seeing shots of Drago killing fucking Apollo. It's the same thing.
Oh my God.
They stole it.
Yeah.
Rocky IV did come out before this. Yes, it did.
Rocky IV came out.
Absolutely.
Anthony, to you, where does this land amongst the Van Damme movies? This is kind of a hard question.
This is a harder question.
I don't know.
It might be his most iconic. I don't think he's not obviously he's a better actor later on. But I think this might be his most iconic movie.
I always loved Universal Soldier.
Yeah.
Universal Soldier's good.
But as far as Jean-Claude Van Damme being Jean-Claude Van Damme, I think he's doing martial arts. That's what he's great at. He's doing the splits. He's doing the kicks. I think that there's other movies where I don't know if Kickboxer is a better movie, but it's he definitely does a lot of the same stuff.
Yes.
Right.
In that movie. So but this is the first one, right? So,
right.
Yeah, then he's ascended to more like high profile films. He had that one Hard Target where John Woo directed it.
But in the 90s, you got, your Time Cop, your Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Sudden Death, all these maximum
Double
risk,
Impact.
Double Team.
Impact, where he's himself twice.
Yes. I never in my life wear silk underwears.
I would agree that this is probably one of his like more recognizable. Like if you say Jean-Claude Van Damme, you're going to think of this movie probably in the first 5 movies you talk about.
Yeah.
Universal Soldier is actually pretty good. I like Universal
That's
Soldier.
with the Dolph Lundgren.
I think is that Roland Emmerich that did that? Who did that?
Universal Soldier, directed by Roland Emmerich.
Yeah.
You are
Wow.
right, Ruggs.
I know a little something.
Dolph and Jean. Yeah. Well, he's got
you
Dolph,
got Dolph
he's
in
got
there.
Dolph to play
Well,
off of. Yeah.
The thing is, too, is like in this era, you still had Stallone, you still had Schwarzenegger going strong, but it was like him and like Seagal were kind of doing the same thing.
Yes, they
in the
were
late
competing.
80s, early 90s
Absolutely,
now,
yeah.
in their own ways.
Those two are in competition, kind of.
Another funny thing about Universal Soldier is that in that movie, he also hooks up with a blonde reporter. And I think in Hard Target, too.
Probably in
doesn't he?
every movie.
He hooks up with one of the Arquettes in one of these fucking movies.
That was the one where
Nowhere
he's
to
like,
Run, I think.
yeah,
Nowhere to Run.
to Run. Yeah.
Rosanna, he hooks up with Rosanna Arquette. That was one of the first times I saw boobies in a movie. I was like, oh my God.
That's right. This is my more adult film.
Well, no, that's good. That's Bloodsport. Fantastic. Ruggs, you're up to bat. It's your pick.
So I had so many movies I wanted to pick, but I was like, which one do I put Anthony through? That's the one that's how I was thinking about this. And I was like, you know what? Like, there's a movie that came out, but nobody really seems to talk about it that often. And I was thinking about Roadhouse. And I was like, you know what? Patrick Swayze had the fucking best hair. But then I thought about this movie, and the hair that's in this movie is almost rivals Patrick Swayze's hair. Kurt Russell's fucking doing this hair in this movie. His hairdo is just fucking magnificent. It's like a mane. So I was like, we got to do Tango and Cash. 2 for the price of 1. Stallone, Russell, Stallone playing against type. Russell he missed out on Lethal Weapon, so he kind of does his version of Mel Gibson in this movie.
He was the last pick for this. In fact, Swayze was supposed to get the role, but he leaves and does Roadhouse. They wanted Arnold against Stallone.
I know, that would have been even crazier.
That would have broken every box office record.
Yeah.
Possibly. In 89.
And the movie had a lot of trouble getting to the screen, much like Cobra and all the other
Any
ones.
movie Stallone is involved in, pretty much.
Yeah, because Stallone's a stickler and an asshole. So, like, he kind of takes over every film that he's on. And he is kind of a control freak and kind of, like, gets involved too much. So, but I always thought that this movie was kind of really silly and funny. And it was just a ridiculous 80s movie, and it had like all of this stuff like cops. It had like a maniacal villain that was like out of a James Bond movie that had like like a weird pets. It had, it has boobs.
This is a weird movie.
It has like a James Bond like type Q guy that makes crazy weapons for Kurt Russell for no apparent reason. It has like all the it's a prison scene. It has like other guys from 80s movies that are in this as the bad guys.
So you also have young Terry Hatcher, but your bad guys are amazing character actors. Jack Palance, Brian James, James Hong, who's been in everything. Do you realize James Hong has been acting since 1954? He has 449 acting credits, and he is still working.
Damn.
He's amazing. So a little more context. Some notable things about this. This came out in 1989. It was actually the very last released movie of the 80s, technically. This is the last, the very end. So we are at the end of the 80s. We are also at the most expensive out of the 3.
Yeah, this is a real movie.
Yeah. With a budget of $54 million. It goes on to make $120 million and huge VHS sales and rentals afterwards. So this one is also a box office success. The credited director is Andrei Konchalovsky.
Figure that one out.
Anyways, I say credited because what Stallone does, he comes in, he fires the director, he rewrites the thing. Randy Feldman gets writing credit, but a bunch of people wrote on this. Stallone was writing lines as they were going on. He fired the director, replaced him with someone named Albert Magnoli, who does not get credit. But yeah, this is just like Cobra, where he's just like, I'm going to do this my way. I'm changing everything.
Yeah.
Fucking Stallone.
Yeah, this movie, as far as like what I thought of it, I also I was like, did I ever see this movie? And then I saw the scene where Terry Hatcher was in dancing, and
Yes.
I'm like, oh yeah,
I remember
I've seen
this.
movie. I've fucking seen this
And
movie.
playing the drums for some reason.
Yeah, Terry Hatcher, bro. Grade A. Yeah, this one was this is an interesting watch as an adult because like I mentioned 48 Hours earlier. I mentioned, or you brought up Lethal Weapon. Yeah. Like this is clearly aping off of those movies.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it like Kurt Russell is good in this movie, although he's kind of like just bonkers.
Yeah.
And then Sylvester Stallone, like the way they have it, it's such a weird,
delivery of everything.
Well, he wanted to play against type, right? He didn't want to be the dumb guy like Rocky or whatever.
He's always in a 3-piece suit. He's a billionaire stockbroker, but why does he? If he's got all this money, why
for the action? He loves action.
Why are you cop? He's like for the action.
The line delivery rugs on him is like he's like everything. He's like, well, it's like this. It's like this. It's like. Why is he saying the lines like this?
You notice he ends up talking faster when there's like action. He'll just like slur all the words together. Like sometimes he'll be slow, and then when things pick up, he just goes blah, 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 blah.
He was really trying to like change his reputation. He was trying to like do a pivot and get away from Rocky and Rambo.
Mm-hmm.
And so he kind of did this, but didn't really think it through. And I think that's one of the reasons I think it's funny because I'm like, this character doesn't make any sense. Like he's a stockbroker.
Yes.
He's a millionaire. He wears 3-piece suits and he's all intelligent, but like and not only that, but like the writing in this movie is just so all over the place. It's like some things don't work at all.
Oh my God.
Some of the lines are just horrible.
All the lines are made up of attempted one-liners and most of them don't work, but it's literally just, they're trying to throw every one line at the thing. What is the synopsis of this movie?
So Tango and Cash are two LA cops that are like the top cops. Tango is played by Sylvester Stallone, and he's like the billionaire stockbroker cop who is like super smart and, all super intelligent.
Tango.
And then Cash is played by Kurt Russell. He's like a crazy, unpredictable slob that, for some reason has advanced weaponry all the time and just makes his own rules and does his own thing. Kind of like
he's Mel Gibson.
He's Mel Gibson. Yeah. You got one by the book guy and one not by the book guy.
Yeah.
Was it Riggs?
Yes. Yeah, he's Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
And
so anyway, these two cops are just fucking taking down all of this drug trade, all this gang activity, just really affecting Jack Palance's bad guy's bottom line. So, and he's in cahoots with like 2 different other mafias, I believe, and they all decide that they're going to frame them and throw them in jail because they don't want to martyr them for whatever reason.
Yeah.
That's some reason they don't want to they don't want to kill them. So they want to throw them in jail and let them die in jail, which is going to happen if you throw them in jail. So they get thrown in jail with all the people that they put in jail, which is like everybody in jail they put in jail. And so they have to escape prison and then somehow
and take down Jack Palance.
Yeah, and take down Jack Palance. And this involves all kinds of fun stuff, but they eventually end up with this fucking A-Team tank.
Oh, yeah.
It's a van or truck that it's like all filled with missiles and shit. And there's like explosions everywhere.
There's so many explosions.
There's like mano-a-mano fight scene. There's in the beginning, Kurt Russell is doing like an action sequence in the parking lot, and just people fucking in the car.
Oh my
and
God,
you see
there's
tits.
boobies early in this movie. There's just a random naked couple having sex in this car in this parking lot.
They did not need to be there at all. That was just
but it's like the motel.
So
there's a car. You can put boobies in there. This is a motel. You put boobies in there.
Like, where are we going to put tits in this movie?
Well, the opening, the introduction to Tango is fantastic because first you get Stallone going, Rambo is a pussy. A little self-aware callback.
So he pulls over he takes down this truck.
Semi-truck.
It's a semi truck with like a big oil rig in the back. And then he's like, oh, what do you think? You're Rambo? He's like, Rambo's a pussy. Then he shoots the oil rig and then cocaine just starts pouring out of the oil rig. He goes and tastes it and he goes, you want to get high? And then,
Well, the one-liners are so bad. Like, first of all, he's shooting at him from like a mile away and hitting the fucking thing. And then for some reason he shoots and it hits the brakes and the semi just stops right before him. And then it stops. And then two guys come flying out and he goes, oh, thanks for dropping in. And then he holds up the handcuffs. He goes, do you like jewelry? Like, these are horrible one-liners.
Yeah,
when I was watching the film, I was like, Commando was somewhat kind of in on the joke. This movie is definitely trying to be in on the joke.
Yes.
Right? Like, this is late 80s now, and they're like, we've seen a shit ton of these movies.
Been done.
So we're self-acknowledging. Like, right away, you mentioned the Rambo thing. Like, this is a movie, when I was watching, I'm like, they're trying to make a parody of themselves right now.
Yeah.
But the problem is, I think Stallone wanted it to be a more serious movie, or somebody did, and then it just didn't end up that way.
Well, no, I don't know if it was Stallone or not, but clearly
the director.
Not everyone was on the same page.
No, they were, and people thought they were doing all sorts of crazy different things. Like Brian James, the bad guy, has said, he's like, I just did a fucking Cockney accent for no reason. I don't know why I was doing it, and it's so bad.
When I was watching it, I was like, what accent is he trying to do?
Broad,
is he I was like, is he Australian?
Yeah, it's this generic, broad Cockney accent. It's not very good.
Yeah, bad cop, worst cop.
Oh, that's so bad. Okay, here's the thing I love. When you meet the bad guys, Jack Palance, for some reason, has mice in a little case and loves to sniff the mice and cuddle the mice and has built a rat maze just to illustrate a point. Like, you could have just told him you want to trap him in prison. You didn't need to build this fucking rat maze in your desk.
I want a maze.
He's like, let me show you what I'm talking about. And I'm like, why do you have a rat maze in your desk? This is all very strange.
Yeah. He is a crazy villain, though. He is kind of out of place.
It's funny how, like, they don't even really get to meet up in the end for very long. Like, there's no confrontation with him and the rest of them. They just get shot.
Jack Palance, my favorite Jack Palance scene in this movie is similar to the Bennett scene in Commando, where he's watching them on the screens get attacked, like, and he's just like, yes, get him. Like, he's orgasming thinking about, like, them dying. I'm like, why is there another movie where the villain is orgasming thinking about the heroes dying?
But I don't even think they're in the same shot ever together, the heroes and the bad guy. He's got some weird revolving mirror hallway thing, and
oh yeah, they do the Enter to the Dragon.
Yeah, that's
exactly what they're doing. What do you think about the prison thing? They're first of all, they're bare ass in the prison.
There we go. So we've escalated from man in Speedo to man putting on Speedo to just bare asses taking a shower together.
Bare asses and just dick jokes.
Oh, yes. He calls him Pee-wee, but Stallone called him Elephant Man at one point. But I think these two also want to fuck. Like, they're definitely got a bromance going on. There's some tension.
There's definitely some weird sexual tension going on between them.
It's the 80s homoeroticism, unintended, that always ends up coming out of this movie.
I think it was intentional.
No, I think that was intended.
Okay.
Yeah. This movie is just trying to be an.
I bet that was Stallone's idea.
I think that there's look, if you look back in Greek sculpture or Roman sculpture, there's always been an eroticism.
Yeah.
Especially when a lot of these people who did these sculptures were into dudes. So there is kind of like this thing baked into like this classical, like idealized people. So Stallone being one of the most idealized physiques that we know, it's just baked in like this. There's a little bit of slight homoeroticism to this, but all at the same time, I wasn't, when I was a kid, watching it thinking I wanted to bang him. I just wanted to be him. I wanted to have those muscles.
Yeah, so it was like a Greek.
I think as you get older and you know about things going in the butthole, and stuff like that, you don't know that as a kid. You really don't. So it's like you don't think about it that way.
Gratuitous man ass is always hilarious.
Well, that prison scene when they first walk in.
Oh my God, what kind of prison is this?
I literally wrote down, why are there live fires in this indoor prison?
I'm like, why isn't anybody putting out the fires? Everyone's like, oh, it's fine, it's a fire.
Oh, yeah.
They walk by.
How much paper do they have to be
where are they getting all
that?
these magazines?
With the ticker tape parade.
Yeah, they got a parade. I was like, what the fuck kind of prison
And then
is this?
Stallone, like that guy with the big face, the big jaw
Why
guy.
is that guy's face all swollen? What's happened to him?
Like, he's in a lot of movies. He's like another 80s bad guy that's in all those movies.
Yes.
And he grabs his face and slams it into the bar after he tells him that he was going to anally rape him. Stallone his response is, "Let me just grab your head and smash it against the."
So a couple of crossovers. Cash at one point does do the splits nut punch, which is a clear homage to Van Damme and Bloodsport. Did you notice that? He does that to a guy. And then this dude gets electrocuted, but he actually dies this time. He doesn't walk away from it.
Yeah, weren't the boys up? They were hanging,
they were electrocuted.
Oh, they
too.
were
also
electrocuted too. Yeah, that was hilarious acting.
They
no
were
one dies
tortured
from electrocution.
Yes, no one died. They didn't die. That's true.
They were tortured in a truly ridiculous scene where Jack Palance is just hiding
Why
in the
is
basement
he
of a prison.
there even? I'm like, you just tell him to kill him. Why do you have to be there? It made no sense. Yves Perret. I was like, why are you even at the prison?
Him and Brian James's character are just hanging out at the bottom. Like their diabolical plan is to be in the basement of the prison and watch these guys get tortured. It's like, what? Why? You don't need to be there.
So they escape because the guards end up showing up.
Yeah.
And then somebody helps them escape from prison.
His guy
I guess.
who got killed.
It's the Tango's, is it Tango
Cash.
or Kurt
It was
Russell's
Cash's
guy?
friend.
Yeah, his friend helps them a little bit.
And then he gets killed. They get everybody killed. And then they escape, and they're both wanted criminals. By the way, every plot point is told to you via newspaper clippings. Did you notice that?
Right, yes,
the
that's
whole
true.
trial, and when they escape, everything is told in newspaper clippings. Everybody sees their face, and fucking Cash is just walking around in the fucking police weapons area. Nobody's recognizing him. And then we get the great scene of Kurt Russell in drag.
Well, first they got to go to the strip club or whatever that is.
Oh my God, the
what is
strip
that?
where Terry Hatcher works. And she comes out, and she does not get naked, but she comes out and does drums to Yaz's Move Out, right?
Move on up. Don't go.
Well,
What was Don't Go? Not
it was
Move
Don't
Out.
Go.
It was Don't
That's a
Go.
great
Yeah,
song.
you're right.
But you get another Boobs scene because he goes in the back with her.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Yes,
more naked
but
women.
all these women are walking around top of it.
There's this unnecessary naked women
A lot
in
of
the.
boobs in that.
Because
movie.
at this point we're like, is he at a strip club? Is this like a burlesque show? What is this? And then we just, you know what? It's just naked women.
And how about the awkwardness? First of all, when they introduce Terry Hatcher's character, you don't really know that it's his sister, right? They're playing it coy. And then he walks in on his sister massaging Cash, and it looks really bad. Now,
And why would she immediately straddle and massage
look,
this
that-
guy she
you know
just
what?
met?
That's fine. She's digging Cash. But if you're her brother, when you saw that, why would you just stand and stare from the hallway awkwardly and not turn away right away? He's like watching them, and I was like, what the fuck are you doing? And then the puns get really bad. The captain shows up, he smashes the screen door on the captain, and the captain goes, is this how you screen all of your guests? I was like, oh.
that scene when he walks in on the Messiah, I actually did laugh.
It was hilarious.
I laughed, and I was like, Austin Powers copied this 20 years later.
Yeah.
But the other thing I wrote down about Stallone's relationship with his sister, or Tango's relationship with his sister, is like, I looked up how old they were. I'm like, they're 20 years apart.
Oh, God.
And we're supposed to believe this is brother and sister.
Yeah. Oh.
They're clearly like Stallone is like, he's in his 40s in this film, and they're like, we're clearly going to make it like Stallone is still maybe early 30s.
Yeah.
Yeah, Terry Hatcher's got to be in her young 20s.
She's in her 20s in that movie.
So they do end up escaping, and they find the fucking hideout, right? And you get the big battle with who does he fight actually at the end?
I wrote this down too.
Brian James, right?
Well, there's two things here. First off, in that battle, I don't know how the hell their Q is communicating with them, because there's no cell phone.
Oh my God. And the audio, it just sounds like he's talking to him. Like there's no effect of like any kind of
That guy is like the greatest actor, that little guy.
Yeah,
He's
that
hanging
guy is great. But there's all this voiceover over them driving like they're talking to each other, and he's not there. And I'm like,
I also wrote this down in the final fight. So Cash gets to fight Brian James's character.
Yes.
Right? But they have to have Stallone fight someone.
Yeah.
So there's just this random fuck that Stallone is fighting that we've never seen in this movie.
Yes.
They didn't build him up
to have
at all.
it do 2-on-2.
Yeah.
I literally wrote down, who the hell is this guy Stallone's fighting at the end?
He's just good at karate or something.
Yeah,
This is some random dude.
What?
I did love the whole grenade in the mouth bit with Brian James, where they were playing bad cop, worst cop. But then he does get exploded with a grenade down the pants at the end, which is fucking hilarious.
Yes.
But that was a great scene. Let me ask you this. Jack Palance at one point activates a talking self-destruct mechanism. What kind of a business installs a self-destruct system in a warehouse?
Listen, the guy's playing with mice, right?
He's playing with mice, and he has, like, why do you have a self-destruct?
There's prisons with fucking Mad Max fucking fires going on.
Open
Yeah, I mean,
fires.
there's nothing.
There's bad puns.
By this point, if you're questioning this, he literally, in the scene where they're in what I would guess is a monster truck park.
Yeah.
Because he has monster
quarry.
trucks chasing them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
There's a monster truck at one point chasing them.
There's some quarry.
Yeah, but he is like,
Yes.
he's got everything.
Yeah, this movie, like the other two films, like kind of there is an air of reality. Like a Kumite could happen.
Mhm.
Yeah, there could be an army guy that's has to like fucking race the clock to save his daughter. That could happen. But two cops going to jail, breaking out of jail, getting in a monster truck, going to a strip club, like all that stuff, happening. It's just none of it has any kind of bearing on reality at all.
I mean, you want to talk about like in Commando where he swings from a balloon or whatever, a giant blow up balloon across the mall. They one up this and they're like, it's going to be pouring rain, and we're going to have electrical wires that are clearly like sparking, and we're going to have them use their belts to run. Down,
that's great.
Like a fucking zip line down this fucking thing onto the ground, and the line when Stallone lands, he just goes, "That was fun."
That's a great shot, though. Fucking Kurt Russell leaping with the rain in the background. I love where he's like, "I know, isn't that how electricity works? You don't want to touch both of them or the ground, right? I don't know. Let's do it." But so also it's got to be mentioned, some of this, because was rewrites. The editing is fucking crazy. You could tell things were changed. Ruggs, this was produced by John Peters, former hairdresser turned fucking.
That's right.
Hollywood big time, and Peter Goober, the Peters Goober connection. They go on to do like fucking Tim Burton's Batman and a bunch of other movies. But John Peters was also, along with Stallone, they were just changing things. Like he had to just do things his way. And you could tell all the ADR, all the voiceover lines that are just shoved in there because it had to get cut out. And they're like, how do we get here? They use lines twice. Like there's a joke where the guy's like, is that a proposal? Like they did that happens twice in the movie.
Yeah, you should never repeat the same line unless it's on purpose.
And then there's like lines that don't make sense at the end where they're driving. And I think Tango goes, where the hell did you learn to drive? And Cash goes, Stevie Wonder. And I'm like, that doesn't even make sense. He didn't ask you who taught you how to drive, you motherfucker. He just yells Stevie Wonder. I mean, there's when the prisoner gets the slinky wrapped around his head to the thing, that's pretty funny.
Yeah. Are they like, him and the prisoner are just like good buddies now?
Buddies
Is that what they're
the serial killer? I don't know.
Yeah. Such a strange. This one was definitely out of the three, the most strange.
It's absurd.
It is the weirdest fucking movie, and it ends with like them giving this awkward high five, and then the high fives is in the photo also.
Yeah,
what the fuck is happening?
It's a very like.
The reason why I chose this movie is because this is the final 80s movie. This is
literally the last.
This is the commentary on all of the shit that went on before
Absolutely, you can see
and
it.
It's pulling and ripping it off and trying to like get it all in there, all the fucking tropes.
I mean, Last Action Hero does it better than this, like in a better artistic way. But this was,
oh yeah, definitely.
This was a lot of money, a lot of explosions, of failed one-liners.
It's like if you take Lethal Weapon, you take Lethal Weapon, and you take like a prison movie, and then you have like some kind of fucking crazy fucking car shit, like out of James Bond or whatever. You throw them all together, and you got this fucking crazy ass movie.
They just threw everything in here. All right, Ruggs, fire.
That being said, one thing, as you mentioned earlier, if they change out Kurt Russell for Stallone,
oh God,
this might be one of the biggest movies I've ever. Or Schwarzenegger, this would have made $1 billion.
Yeah, and it's crazy. Like they don't get together until Expendables, like 2 decades later.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
I know they should have been in the same movie. Swayze, how do you think Swayze would have done in this role? They wanted him.
Oh man,
that might have worked.
Kurt Russell's just got that charm, like that. I think that he works well with Stallone.
He does.
I think they have good chemistry.
Well, that's the other thing I didn't understand. They never met until this movie. How are they like so buddy by the end of it? Like they didn't even know each other.
Well, they went through some shit.
They did go through
it's
the
a buddy-
lawsuit.
He wants to bang his
that's the buddy
sister.
cop
Yeah.
thing, though.
Yeah, he wants to bang his sister.
He was now.
you know?
He's gonna bang his sister for sure.
I think Swayze would have been better as a Tango.
oh,
Like, he can't, like, as a little bit more of the serious type.
yeah. You can't have two mullet people. Then you gotta have.
Well, yeah, then you would have to, but you would have moved Stallone over to Cash.
Yeah, because him playing Tango is just so strange.
It's super miscast.
It just doesn't work. And he's got a tiny little revolver in the beginning. I thought that was fun. I'm like, what is going on? This is a weird movie. All right.
Super
yeah,
miscast.
Ruggs, final thoughts. Give us your rating on this one.
I love Stallone. I love Kurt Russell. I love Terry Hatcher. I love all of the things in this movie. It is a ridiculously bad movie, but it's also entertaining. So it's like, and they spent real money on this movie.
Yeah.
They spent a lot of money. They had actual like stuntmen and they had like actual fucking
Big stunts.
explosions. Yeah, they really went for it. And I think a lot of this is, too many people stirring the pot and not knowing, have a clear vision. But even though it kind of failed in trying to be something great, I think it still is great in its own way, even though it's obviously bad in so many ways. Like the dialogue is just fucking beyond reproach. It's horrible. It's like, it's so bad, it's good. It's so geniusly bad. It's crazy.
So bad, it's good.
It's like almost nothing works, but it's also like what makes it funny. So I'm going to give it a 7.5.
Whoa.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Anthony, what do you give it?
So this movie, I'm judging a little bit more on a curved scale.
Okay.
Because it is the last of the movies, right, of the 80s. So it had all that time to look at these movies. And kind of unlike the other two movies, which were funny and unintentionally funny, this one's intentionally trying to be funny. Like, it's trying to be, as I mentioned earlier, in on the joke. And I don't think it necessarily hits that. Like, if you're trying to be in on the joke, you better be fucking in on the joke. And to me, that didn't always hit that point. Like, it didn't always make me go, oh yeah, like this is
They're
funny.
trying
Like
too
they're
hard,
really calming
almost.
it a little bit, yeah. And then you're also kind of copying the buddy cop stuff, but you've seen better buddy cop stuff than this. Like, you can definitely see it's kind of busting at the seams. Yeah. That being said, it is still entertaining. It is, you still get boobs. You still have two of the bigger action stars of the time in the movie. So it's not completely horrible. There's a lot of like little things that I do enjoy. I'm going to go with a 6 out of 10 on this one.
Okay, yeah. Well, if we look at our criteria here, it does check a lot of the boxes, but does it some of them it does, like you said. I agree, like the one-liners were so forced, like they just fell flat, and I was like, well, and it just kept going and going. But the leads are great. The music's pretty rockin' 80s, kind of generic 80s rock, right? Is that what was going on?
It was like, it was the most conventional kind of music.
It was very conventional. But the stunts, the fights, there is Boobs, the over-the-top villain, even though he was just, Jack Palance himself was kind of a dud, but you had Brian Jones. I'm going to give this like a 7.5, I think, is where it's going to land. It is a weird fucking movie.
It is really, really fucking weird.
Yeah.
It is one of the weirdest movies that I've revisited and go, wow, this is like, from a writing perspective and dialogue perspective, I'm like, what the fuck are they doing? Like, they're really like, ooh.
So let me ask you, Ruggs, is this either of these leads best movies? Neither. Where does it land?
This is probably one of their worst movies. Of both of them, but they're just very memorable. Like, no one, you can't say Tango and Cash and not elicit a smile from someone.
When you said Tango and Cash, even me not having seen this in a very long time and not even remembering if I saw it, I was like, oh, Tango and Cash, that's a movie. Like, people talk about Tango and Cash.
Yeah.
Like, I knew right away.
It does have a cult following now.
Oh, absolutely.
So, Ruggs, this being Stallone's worst outing, what is his best?
I don't know if it's his worst.
What is his best? What would you say is his best? It's clearly got to be Rocky.
Oh, come on. Like, you got it's all of the Rocky movies, the Rambo, the first two Rambo movies are great. Demolition Man's great.
He's good in Copland also. That's
He's
great
great
movie.
in Copland. He's in a lot of good movies.
I liked him in Creed too, and like with some of his
Creed
older
is
stuff,
really
he was
good.
really good.
I think even Judge Dredd has got its moments.
Yeah, maybe.
not all of them, but he started taking a shine to Rob Schneider for some reason and putting him in everything.
You look at the Stallone from Cobra, and then you look at this Stallone. I really love Cobra.
I mean, he was in like The Specialist. He was in like The Assassins with fucking Antonio Banderas.
But then you can't forget your Over the Tops or your Stop or My Mom Will Shoot.
Over the Top is a fucking great ass. We should watch that one.
Cliffhanger? What about the mountain climbing movie Cliffhanger?
That was a good movie. And then there's Daylight where he's in a tunnel.
Oh, Daylight, yeah.
Like, he did a lot of shit. Like, he really did. Like, all across the board, Stallone tried everything.
Anthony, what's your favorite Stallone?
I got to say that it's one of the Rock. I mean, he's probably his best in Rocky 1 and 2. Although, as a kid, to me, Rocky 4 is my all-time favorite.
Yeah.
So even though that's like not the best writing of a movie, like he's good. Of the three actors that we're talking about, he's definitely the best actor. Like
Hands
he can
down.
actually get into it. When I was looking at his career, I was like, he was trying to be like a really legit actor, and then he just saw how good, like, how people were taking to like his badass stuff, and then the Schwarzenegger stuff, and he's like, I'm pivoting. Like, this is now who I'm going to be for like the next 10 years. I'm just going to be in these action movies.
He wrote Rocky. He won an Oscar. He starts out.
I think he wanted to be in Martin Scorsese movies and shit like that. He wanted to be in that kind of thing. I think he was in The Pope of Greenwich Village. Was he in that? Or was he in Rhinestone? He was in a bunch of other stuff. Well, there was another. He was in some other movie where he was Nighthawks.
Oh, Nighthawks. Yes, that's from the late early 80s. Yeah.
So they weren't like they were like regular boilerplate 70s 80s movies. They were like serious dramas. They weren't like super comedic or anything like that or outlandish. I think that after Rambo,
yep,
like that just blew the floodgates open. And Rambo was kind of like earnestly of an action. It was an earnest action film. Yes, he had that running with the explosion thing that became a trope.
Well, the thing with Rambo is Rambo comes out the same year as Rocky 3.
Think about this, man. Had two huge franchises in the 80s going concurrently.
And what's noticeable about pointing that out is Rambo. Obviously, he's great in that. But Rocky 3 is like when he really started doing steroids.
Oh.
So like his body completely changes from Rocky 1 and 2 to Rocky 3. And then like that's when he starts to like become a different person. Now he's like a superhero on screen, right?
Yeah.
So I think that kind of those two movies coming out in the same year really start to like change the trajectory of his career to being now he's just a superhero. Before superheroes.
He's bigger than life.
But you got to hand it to him though. Like I think he went away for a little while.
Yeah.
I think he went away like when he started in his like late 40s, early 50s. He's like, okay, I got to go out now.
Yeah.
And then he came back in his like fucking 60s. He did Rocky Balboa. Then he did the fucking what do you call it? The Expendables?
Expendables, yeah. He brought that back.
And he fucking went back and did an action movie and did more of them. He did like 3 or 4 action movies after that.
Yeah, Bullet to the Head, Escape Plan.
Yeah. So like he had a resurgence in his fucking old age.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's just a
And
crazy
now
fucking
he's the
one.
voice of King Shark.
Yeah.
And other things.
Yeah.
But okay, so let's switch over to Kurt Russell, who also has had very interesting, similar career. He went away and kind of came back again.
Tombstone's probably his best movie, I would say, right?
Tombstone, definitely. Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, you have your Escape from different cities, your Stargates.
Yeah, he was good at everything. He was always good. I mean, he's Big Trouble in Little China, great.
He is consistent.
Yeah.
What about Escape from New York?
And Escape from New York, Escape from LA.
Well, like Snake Plissken and Jack Burton are two completely different characters, right? Like Snake Plissken's like this fucking dark character that doesn't say much, not really talky, not really whatever. And then Jack Burton's this loudmouth, arrogant asshole prick, whatever. So like he went the gamut of the two different things, and then he was in like movies with Goldie Hawn and fucking Captain Ron.
He has a great comedic timing, and those like Sky High. Like I really like Sky High. He was good as the dad, but now he's also part of the fucking MCU, just like Stallone in Guardians of the Galaxy.
He's in Tarantino movies.
And he's doing Tarantino movies. He was in
Death
Proof, and then The Hateful Eight, and he's in the Fast and Furious franchise as well.
He's in that too. Yeah.
So very interesting career.
So that dude has been around the block,
and then he's also Santa Claus.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: who's the better actor, him or Stallone?
Oh man, you know what? That's a really good question. Kurt Russell's a very good actor. I think he's a good actor.
I feel like if you watch Tombstone, he's very, very good at that. Like they're two different. Like Jack Burton and Wyatt Earp are two completely different characters.
Huh? I feel like he's got a little more range than the Stallone, maybe, which maybe puts him on top.
Yeah, he's a good actor.
He was also in that movie Soldier, where he was kind of like Arnold, where he was like didn't say anything. So yeah, I mean he has a range, a limited range, but he does well in that range.
But he's found a couple of franchises, big IPs to come back in and resurgence, just like the Stallone a little bit. So yeah, but in the 80s, I always thought he was like the fourth tier guy.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, like, are there any other? There's definitely more names, but like, what are some of the other names that we should just quickly mention real quick from the 80s, 90s that were the stars?
Like throwing your Bruce Willis there.
Bruce Willis like opened the door wide with Die Hard.
Yep.
You gotta have your Tom Cruise in there.
Tom Cruise is in there. Absolutely.
Your Swayzes.
Swayze, yeah. Roadhouse is an all timer. You got to throw in. I mentioned him earlier, Steven Seagal.
Yeah, you gotta get in Seagal.
Dolph
Lundgren.
Brandon Lee.
Do you put Harrison Ford in this category?
I mean, if you consider the Raiders movies like kind of that action,
that is action.
He's got the Jack Ryan movies, and he's got the when he ran away. What is he called?
Oh, The Fugitive.
Fugitive.
You find this man. You find this. I love The Fugitive.
That's a great movie. I haven't watched that.
Fugitive is fantastic.
Mel Gibson too.
Mel Gibson's definitely
you got to
be
put
in
in there. Yeah.
How about whatchamacallit? You got to throw in Wesley Snipes.
Definitely
yes.
Wesley Snipes.
Carl Weathers.
Yes.
Action Jacks. We got to watch that too.
Here's two names that you probably don't think of, but they have to be thrown in there. Sigourney Weaver and Linda Hamilton.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
Now they were only in big like one or two, but like they were just as big.
Impact.
Yeah, they were just as big as the rest of those people.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's the most of them. I mean, outside of your...
here are two that I saw on lists, and I was wanting your opinion on. People were including Chow Yun-fat and Jackie Chan from Police Story.
Jackie Chan, absolutely.
Well, they definitely had a presence, but they weren't in mainstream culture.
Right.
Like, you had to, like... But they had, like, if you went to the New York Angelica Theater, you could watch a Jackie Chan movie. You could watch... At certain theaters in the city, you could watch, Hard Boiled or John Woo film. They would bring those over, but those are mainly known from like DVD or a Blockbuster.
Okay, so
like,
if we're gonna throw those in, here's some more fringe guys that were a little bit earlier than these guys. That their inspiration, you got to go Charles Bronson,
Chuck Norris,
and to some extent, your Clint Eastwood there.
I feel like those names, like Clint Eastwood's like but like those guys were like the precipice of like these guys.
Yeah,
like they were the first kind of like generation.
Yep.
You got Bruce Lee.
And then where did
Bruce
the
Lee,
James Bonds fit in at all?
I think that's a different thing.
Those are action movies.
there's definitely like the masculinity in those too.
Yep.
But yeah, I mean those are valid. Those are valid
Putting
movies.
Sean Connery or Roger Moore.
Those are just taken more seriously.
Yes.
Right.
I mean, there are ludicrous in certain iterations, but for the most part, there is a tone that they kind of hold throughout. There is a little bit of camp, but it's like they try to pull off this like hoity-toity type of a vibe, and they do it very well.
No, those are all great names, and those are all those are the top hits. All right, Anthony, let's do this. Let's go through your criteria.
Oh yeah.
Figure out who wins each category and come up with an overall thing there.
So Macho lead.
Okay. Macho
who's the most macho?
It's got to be not Stallone. Sorry, Schwarzenegger.
That was my first thought, but was he really macho in it? In the movie?
I mean, they start out and he's carrying a fucking
he's carrying a log. That's pretty
log
macho.
on his shoulder.
Yeah,
and he rips a telephone booth out.
Yeah.
Sure. Jean-Claude Van Damme's macho, but he's kind of like he's kind of soft.
Yes.
He's got like a softer side. And Tango and Cash are like, they're macho, but Stallone. It's got to be.
I think
Stallone.
it's got to be
Stallone,
Schwarzenegger. No, that was my first. That was my first
That's John
instinct
Matrix.
too. Yeah, John Matrix. I
Are
think.
we going to agree on that?
I think Arnold wins by a slight advantage. in
Okay.
this.
Who did you have second? Just out of curiosity.
Stallone.
Okay.
I think Kurt Russell and Stallone are both kind of manly.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, though,
in their
Stallone
ways.
is acting against type.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like,
Right.
Schwarzenegger's acting like he would act. Where
Like-
Stallone, he's got to play that.
like you
the
never
banker.
believe that Stallone is that
Right.
guy.
Yes, right.
Like his manliness still just exudes out of
Yeah.
that character, even though it's not supposed
Russell's
to.
got the
Right.
macho going on, in the movie.
But Schwarzenegger, like, that's clearly a gigantic human.
Yes. No, I think
Shooting
I think Schwarzenegger wins the macho lead category. Absolutely. One.
I'll give it to
okay.
I'll give it
Yeah.
to fucking Arnold.
One-liners.
Okay. This one I also want to give to Commando. Even though
Definitely.
Yep, I agree.
like we just talked about the Tango and Cash is nothing but one-liners. They don't land. Maybe
Yeah,
one.
you don't
or
even
two.
remember them.
No. But the one-liners in Commando stick out. I mean, and Bloodsport really didn't have any one-liners.
Not too many, no. They're not said by that. Jean-Claude Van Damme didn't have a good grasp of the English language,
Right,
so.
enough. So, like, don't make them talk. Okay, so that's 2 for Commando. We're taking the first 2 categories, one-liners and macho leads.
Music. I got it. Bloodsport's got to be it for
Oh,
me.
shit. Okay, he votes Bloodsport.
But you can convince me otherwise. But Bloodsport right now, I mean, Fight to Survive is such a fucking inspirational song.
I would give that one. I would give it.
It really is an earworm.
I think Bloodsport gets the edge, especially with the Kumite, because I kept singing that. Yeah.
Kumite.
They say Kumite so many times in that movie.
I mean, it is hilarious that Commando has saxophone,
Yes.
steel drums,
Yes.
and synth music all in its score.
Yes, James Horner.
and it's done by James.
yeah,
Horner.
that's wild. And then
Well, someone
yeah.
said, I think it was Bill Simmons.
Yeah.
I listened to it. He said that the Commando theme is
Yeah.
basically the 48 Hours theme.
Oh, it might
They just
be.
rejiggered it.
Yeah, he might just changed one
Maybe,
one
yeah.
note.
But the thing about the Bloodsport theme is that movie, because there's not a lot of one-liners, that movie is basically all told through movie montages
Yeah,
and
music montages. Yeah.
So without the good music, that movie is not as good.
And yeah, we said Tango and Cash had some 80s, but they were kind of generic-y 80s. I think Bloodsport is my pick also. We
All right.
agreed?
We'll agree on that.
I think just for an 80s action movie song, it has the best 80s
All
action
right.
movie song.
Bloodsport takes the music category. Okay, this is a big one. Action, fight scenes.
Oh, man.
Like, what's the best action?
Fuck, this is really hard because the 3 movies do all have kind of great action moments.
Well, they're built on action.
They're all built on action. Different, and
I
they're
think-
different.
I think the highest octane action is probably in Tango and Cash.
Yeah.
But
It has the
I
most
think
explosions.
the best choreographed fights are obviously
In Bloodsport.
in Bloodsport. But the balance of the two is got to be the Commando. So Commando's got the whole package.
Commando's got the body count, high
Commando's
body
got
count.
Commando's got that high octane as well, but the fight scenes, like the punching, is like okay. Bloodsport's got the definitely choreography, but it's just it's in the same spot.
Fuck.
Tango and Cash, you have variety of locales, right?
Yeah.
Man, I'm gonna defer to you guys. I
This
don't.
is hard.
Yeah, this is a tough one.
I feel like I think Tango and Cash has got the most action.
It has
But,
definitely.
all
is
of
it
them.
better than Commando's
Yeah,
action?
because it does have more explosions than Commando, which also had explosions.
Well, you remember Commando because Commando is so iconic, and
Yeah.
Bloodsport are very iconic.
Yes.
Tango and Cash is not a movie that's iconic.
Okay.
But
in that way.
Is there a better scene
shit.
in Tango and Cash than in Commando when he's in the shed, doesn't get shot up, and fucking slices everyone up?
Oh yeah, that's
And that is a great one, and the arm
I
comes flying
forgot.
off.
off. The,
And
the saw.
he survives just by going above everything. Nobody shot up. I was like,
Right.
Well, I think that like in Tango and Cash, there is a karate fight with Stallone and the karate guy that's pretty well choreographed, and like the fight scenes are well done.
done.
I think that they and the car explosion scenes are all well done. But I just think that Commando just has it's just such a memorable movie, even though I don't really think it does anything better. It just does things more memorable.
Right. There's just you walk out of that movie and you remember that he impales someone with a pipe.
let off some steam, Bennett.
Yeah.
I mean, the third act, there's like no dialogue. It's just all shooting. It's just all shooting and killing. I think I will give action to Commando. I'm gonna go with my boy
I'll lean
Commando.
Commando then as well.
I will say, for memorability's sake, Commando.
Oh shit, Commando takes it. Okay, we got 3 Commandos, 1 Bloodsport. Next category: babes and or boobs.
Oh, that Tango and Cash is by far and away the winner here because it's got 2 sets of boobs and Terry Hatcher, not her boobs, but still a hot babe.
Yeah.
She's got the hottest girl out of all of them.
I would lean Tango and Cash. I would say Bloodsport's clearly last. That reporter, she's cute, but no boobs and really a nothing character. I will say that not because of the babe boobs part, but just the fact that like Rae Dong Chong is attractive and she's like completely different than what you would have expected from a movie of this time.
Yeah.
Like I think there is an argument to be made that like because she's so just off the wall, like whoa, I wouldn't have expected a black.
Well, I think Rae Dong Chong's just a woman,
right?
Like I don't really think that she's there for
Terry Hatcher is the babe. Like that's her role.
So just because movies have women in them. So like, okay, but do they have babes? Like that's a different thing.
I vote Tango.
Like when you watch Last Action Hero and his daughter comes out and it's that girl from fucking Billy Madison.
Oh yeah.
Or
that's the babe
Happy
of the,
Gilmore.
Yeah, Happy. Yes. One of the Adam Sandler girls. Yes.
Yeah.
I guess the argument I'm making is I found Rae Dong Chong attractive.
She's very attractive.
Oh, she's attractive, but I don't think she's there to be ogled.
No,
that's the problem. That's
she's
not her
there
purpose.
to be ogled at because I remember I did a little research and they was a lot they were thinking about doing a love scene with them and there was a lot of sensitivity towards a white guy and a black girl.
Plus he kidnapped her.
Thing in the 80s.
She's just there to be kidnapped. And then
but I would say Terry Hatcher's the best by far. And you have more boobs in this movie.
Yeah, okay. Tango and Cash I think wins the babe boobs category.
Yeah, that's an easy one for them.
And then finally we have the villain category.
Let me line them up.
Yes.
You have
this one's hard too.
Bennett and maybe you can include Hadaya.
Yeah, but mostly Bennett. Yeah.
You have Bolo Young as Chong Li.
Yeah.
And then you have Yves Perret, Jack
Palance, and Brian Jones.
And this you could kind of throw in Brian Jones, but it's mostly Palance. So who's the villain of the villains of this?
I mean, Bennett is just as crazy as like Brian Jones. Like those two characters are exactly the same. Essentially,
It's a Bennett's just made of complete lard.
Yeah, he's a little punchier.
He's a lard ass bad guy.
A little punchier.
Here, I'll start then.
Yeah.
If I'm just going by like most intimidating, it's clear to me it's Bolo Young.
Yes. Yeah, there's no question.
Just physicality.
Most intimidating bad guys.
That's
Bolo
important.
But part of being a good bad guy in these movies is you're also somewhat like entertaining in a weird way, like kind of comedic. And the other two guys are much more comedic.
Right.
Like Yves Perret, both of them have orgasming scenes.
They do. But for me, Jack Palance is over the top, nonsensical villain. I think this is who my vote is. He's sniffing mice. I think I'm voting Jack Palance.
I'm going to vote Bolo Young. So we Ruggs, where are you at so far?
This is a tough one because Jack Palance is like a real actor.
Yeah,
he is.
Like he's not some.
But he delivers every line the same fucking way in everything, which is hilarious.
Yeah, but he's a real actor. They got like a name to be the fucking bad guy.
They got like they had money to spend here,
and he puts in this fucking weird, this probably the weirdest shit that he's ever done.
I love when he's like Tango, cash, Tango. He's like Tango just tangos in and tangos out with my money. He's so weird. I love it.
So I kind of think that that's hilarious, but at the same time, like Bolo Young haunted my nightmares for many years with that crazy maniacal face as he fucking crushes someone's skull.
You're the deciding vote here then.
I don't know. I mean, I think that for what little that he does, besides just be looking intimidating and being ripped, he still kind of is the more like intimidating bad guy, whereas Jack Palance, I think, is just more like ludicrous. So I'm probably gonna go Bolo Young on this.
Bloodsport takes it. I mean, Bolo Young could take out any of the other bad guys, no problem.
They write Bolo Young to actually do evil shit. They don't have the other guys actually do anything evil.
No.
Bennett tries to kill the girl, but he can't, which is like he's so incompetent.
Yeah.
And he has no muscle on his body. And then Jack Palance is like Dr. Evil before Dr. Evil.
Yeah, it's just I love over the top. Fucking.
But they're all like in their own way good villains. But I do agree that I think out of the three, everyone remembers like Bolo Young as a villain. No one really remembers these two as much.
That's true. That's true. All right, Bloodsport takes that one. All right, so everybody gets a little representation, and then finally, Anthony, how do we do this overall? Which do you want to do? Which is the best movie?
Or what movies of the best movies of that time?
You talk about the other examples.
Oh, you're saying which is the best movie of the three?
Yeah.
Oh well, I think that's all up to. I mean, let's use those categories. Who won what and which had the most?
I mean, based on our ratings, I think Commando wins.
I think Commando
won the most categories.
Commando takes the most categories.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I think Commando is the winner.
Overall, Commando got the most points. My movie won.
If you wanted to show somebody what an 80s action movie was, you put Commando on, and it covers it.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
This is great. We should call this 80s action fight.
We can always
action movie night.
these.
80s action movie fight. Let's see.
We can revisit this.
Fucking fantastic.
We can revisit
that
this
was a
again.
lot of fun. And then as far as the examples of the other movies it's the ones everyone thinks about.
What I guess which one, if you had to pick one 80s early 90s movie that you thought was the best in this genre,
shit.
Could you pick one?
Shit, I don't know if I could pick just one because you got because you got like the sci-fi action, you got the cop action, there's a different genres.
Well, here, I'll list a few.
Okay,
you got Die Hard, right?
Absolutely.
Terminator. We could say Terminator 2 is part of this era.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Aliens.
Yeah.
RoboCop.
The RoboCop's definitely up there. Yeah.
Yeah, RoboCop's a great one.
Lethal Weapon.
Yep, the Lethal Weapons is up there.
That's a great serious one too.
So, and then you got Rambo: First Blood.
We mentioned Roadhouse, 48 Hours,
Raiders of the Lost
Yeah,
Ark.
Roadhouse,
Indiana
48
Jones.
I mean,
yeah.
What's the best?
I'm gonna go Roadhouse as far as if you want to go cheesy.
Okay.
Die Hard if you're not going cheesy, and then Lethal Weapon if you're not going cheesy too.
Okay.
And there's also you got to throw in Raiders of the Lost Ark
Raiders.
because that's a great action film.
Man,
there's so many. I can't pick one.
But not of this. Like, there's this genre. Like the best. Like I love RoboCop, and I love there's a lot. I love Showdown in Little Tokyo. Like that's a really Black Rain.
Oh, Black Rain with Michael Douglas.
Yeah. So there's a lot of fucking great action movies. The thing is, I'm not very well versed in Chuck Norris. Unfortunately,
we might have to do a Chuck Norris deal because those are hilariously bad movies too. Delta Force, Missing in Actions.
Yeah. There's like really bad movies. Remember Enter the Ninja and fucking The Last Dragon and fucking there's just so many bad ones that are fun to go check out too as well. But like, there's like Escape from New York. There's a lot of fucking great.
I'd say. I mean, Aliens is up there for me. Die Hard.
Your Mad Max.
Maybe Terminator 2 is early 90s, but I still consider it part of the era. So that's one of them. One we haven't mentioned. What's up earlier? Predator is an all timer. And
Predator.
Predator is an all timer. And keep in mind, Predator is also like a kind of a commentary on the 80s, so it takes advantage of that with the machismo,
right?
And just for reference, because I think we all know this, but John McTiernan did Predator then Die Hard.
Yeah! Wow,
which is insane.
Wow, you know what else
he literally like did a back to back, and was just like, you could probably retire and live in infamy forever.
Oh
for
my god, I can't believe you did back to back. I would throw into this too. Beverly Hills Cop also checks all these boxes right here.
Absolutely,
that's right.
It is funny, but it's also got your action. It's got your shooting, your buddy comedy.
Beverly Hills Cop,
and that's a fantastic movie. Well, if you're putting,
Cop is really good.
Putting 48 Hours in there, you got to put the Beverly Hills Cop.
Is there any Steven Seagal movie? What is it? Hard to Kill?
I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, Highlander and fucking
you can put
Road Warrior.
Okay, yeah.
Seagal movies. What is that? Yeah, that Above the Law.
Oh,
I don't know.
I think
the best
Hard
of
to
the
Kill
best.
is
That's
one of his best.
People sleeping on that movie too. The best of the best.
Best of the best.
That was like it was like a movie about like a martial arts team that has to like band together and like win a tournament. You never saw that movie? It's great.
No, you could put your Top Gun in here too.
Do you think?
Yeah.
But do you think what do you think these movies work now, Ruggs?
No, I mean, if you're going to take some like Zoomer that's all like concerned about everything that can't actually sit back and have a good time without like, you know, I don't think it's going to work for those people. I think it works for people who remember what it's like to not give a fuck and, or for it not even to register because you weren't really aware of all this stuff. Like you were just ignorant to all this. And you just said, oh, this is what a movie is. So whatever.
In all three of these movies we talked about, there's lots of things you can't do anymore.
Well,
yeah.
Here's what I would say. I think you can't, obviously we expect a little bit more now with these movies.
Yeah.
Like we're holding them to a different standard.
Yeah.
I will say that although the action isn't the same, it has evolved into like what we get now, which would be like the Fast and Furious movies, the Wick movies, the John Wick movies, like the Taken stuff. Like I think there's a lot more. Fast and Furious is a little different, but those John Wick movies and like Taken and like the one we reviewed, that was a Patreon review.
Nobody.
Yeah,
that was a great movie.
There's a lot more. If you've noticed how the action evolved, there's a lot more efficiency in the action.
Yes.
Like it's just like one shot kill, one shot kill. Where these movies were all like, I'm gonna fucking fuck you up with like 20,000 bullets and like get into a one-on-one combat. Like they're like our tastes have evolved to like normal guy doing very efficient action.
Yeah.
So like Keanu right now is like I would consider our generation's like best action star.
Sure,
right now.
absolutely. Yeah. No, and that's what I love about the John Wick movies is just like it was all headshots. It was all very efficient. I was like, holy shit, look at this. But
so it's still around. It's just, you know, less boobs.
You got Arnold throwing grenades and rocket launchers at people.
Well, I just want to, you know, Frank Grillo doing Boss Level reminded me a lot of 80s action
Grillo
movies.
is definitely he's bringing it back. He's
a holdover.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, if I had to equate it to an 80s action
he's 50
star,
something.
He's probably like, probably at the level of like Seagal.
Oh, boy.
Where he's like way back there, and we don't have the reverence for action movies like we did back then. So it's obviously not propped up at all.
Yeah. Boss Level it reminded me a lot of like an 80s action film. And it was very self-aware and very much hilarious. And it had a lot of like that machismo in there. And there are movies that are trying to get back to that a little bit, and we see that with Peacemaker. But that they're doing like a whole analysis.
Yeah,
that's like really like they're trying to really like they're using it. See, what happens is, I think a lot of people want to use these tropes, but they don't want to be labeled as okay. You're doing this fucking, so they have to figure out how to put a spin on it. That still like you're analyzing it. You're deconstructing this asshole,
right?
Even though we're watching someone be an asshole, and that's what's funny.
Enjoy that.
Like when you watch Johnny be an asshole, that's what's funny. Yeah. But then they have to kind of put this whole like perspective on it, so like you can enjoy him being an asshole without feeling like an asshole yourself,
right?
Because you're But I'm like, but isn't that the whole point to escape? Is to just have shit happen that and know that like when you play a video game and you gun down a million people and you're playing Grand Theft Auto and you're taking people's cars and running people over,
stop and
like no one stops you and says,
what you're doing.
To make you for reflect.
Think about what you're doing here.
But in movies, for some reason, they hold them to a different standard, and you can't really do that without adding a lot of like subtext or kind of like another perspective in there somehow to kind of offset it. So, we're never going to get these movies again unless like society changes. I think that at this point we can't do it. So
that's a shame because this was a lot of fun. We will have to do it again with another set of movies.
Yeah, we might have to. We'll have to see what the people think.
Great idea, Anthony. Listener, let us know. But right now we're going to find out what the people think with some news from the nation. It's time for news from the nation. It's time for news from the nation.
stinks. It stinks. It stinks.
So I got a couple of comments. I teased this in our Facebook group last week.
Oh, did you?
I was like, I'd give him a little tease. I was like, hey, look at what we're talking about.
Imran, you teasy
I like
minx.
to give a little bit and then pull it back. Nick Shev says about these three movies, all classics, but Bloodsport is above and beyond most anything in existence.
Whoa.
So big Bloodsport guy, Shev is there. John Bellotti Jr., our admin of the group, says the production backstory of Tango and Cash is more interesting than the actual film. Yes, which I mentioned a little bit. It was crazy.
How much
Everybody's getting
money
fired.
that he's going to compare this to another Asian film?
Oh, let's
that
see what he says.
steals
The
from?
next comment is also.
Does he say that?
Also, the
Oh my
opening.
god, that's spot on. You're not even reading that.
Also, the
Go ahead.
opening sequence in Tango and Cash was borrowed from Jackie Chan's opening of Police Story. Both scenes feature our heroes facing off an oncoming vehicle and it's stopping just short of hitting them, and then the driver flying out of the window.
I would love Bellotti just to throw out a French movie every once in a while.
You
know?
It's similar to Jean-Claude Balbou's original debut. Yeah, but you're dead on. He did. So, look,
Yeah.
but Jackie Chan clearly influenced, on all these movies. So.
Right.
Blake Braden says the lead character's name is John Matrix. If that doesn't get you to watch the movie, I don't know what will. So that's points for Commando. And then
John Matrix.
it's a great name. He does not look like a John Matrix. Jose Ibarra says, Anthony, I think we need a special jock talk with a full breakdown of Jackson's fighting style. Did he even have a fighting style? He just fucking pummeled people.
No, he would just run at you and with his hands up, and he basically had the biggest choke job in the history of combat by having Bolo Young or Chong Li down and then celebrating his win.
Oh
before
my
he
God,
even won.
that was great. Yes, he was like, I got him. And I'm like, what are you doing, dude? He's getting up.
He's dead. I got him. He's dead.
He's like the worst fighter that's there.
That's a
Oh,
guy-
he's
I
by
was
far
like,
the worst.
oh, the guy is
Yeah.
celebrating early. This never ends well. Yeah, it was a non-fighting style. It was just, I'm coming after you. That was kind of it. That was his style.
Nerds.
Fucking Donald Gibb is great. Okay, that was a lot of fun. That's it for this week. I do want to mention this is Batman week, so everyone celebrate
shit.
the Batman coming out later this week. We'll have our instant reactions on
Doing good reviews.
the Patreon. It is getting great reviews currently on Rotten Tomatoes with 170 reviews. That's 87%, 8 out of 10 average rating. It is expected to open to about 100 to 125 million domestically or more even.
That's pretty good.
For a 3-hour Batman. Dude, I'm trying not to read these reviews, but it's getting me
Geek boner.
very excited, just like skimming through the headlines and what people, wow. I need to temper my expectations, but this sounds like it's going to be a fucking blast.
Well, we have a couple of good Batman movies, and hopefully it just treads water with them, and I'll be happy with that.
Expectations for you. You're pumped, yes.
Yeah.
I'm pumped.
Batman.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I mean, you got Matt Reeves, you got Batman, and it's getting good reviews. I'm going to stay away from as much as possible, but I definitely cannot wait to watch it on opening night.
Me neither. I can't wait. We will have a full spoiler review next week, so don't go anywhere. Also, this week I did another guest appearance on another friend of the show podcast, Pod Buddy. I'm stepping out on you fools. This time it was with our buddy Jamie Robinson, who always posts. He is Mr. Throwback Thursday on the Mr. Throwback Thursday podcast. This is my favorite old school hip hop podcast. I've been listening to him for years. He's been listening to me for years. It was an honor. I finally got to go on and just geek out about hip hop and music. It'll be out this Thursday. I will put a link to their website. Definitely want to check that out. It is a lot of fun. And it was really weird because that was the first time we met. We were talking to each other, but I felt like I knew him. He felt like he knew me. Like it was like we've been friends for a long time. We'd never met before. Podcasting is really strange sometimes when these things happen, but I finally got to hang out with him. So go check that out. Subscribe to Mr. Throwback Thursday. It's a very good show. Ruggs, where can the listener find you online?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter at Really Rug Boy.
Did I surprise?
Really Rug Boy on
I
Twitter.
surprised you? Sorry. Go back to what?
No,
Go back to whatever you were doing. The listener, follow Rug Boy. We got show notes at our website. You'll find links to everything we talked about in the description for this episode. Share the show. That's the most important thing you could do to help us out. Spread the geekery. to all your friends and family and coworkers, and we'd appreciate it. Thank you for listening to the Jock and Nerd Podcast. My name is Imran.
My name's Anthony.
He's the Jock.
He's a nerd.
We'll peep you next time.
Do you believe that Tango didn't know what FUBAR was?
Fucked up beyond all recognition. Even I knew that shit.
Lame. This guy's a fucking stockbroker. He's got billions of dollars.
Why?
He doesn't know what FUBAR is.
Jock and Nerd.